going live
for 75.
Hello and welcome to episode 75 of Triangle Squared. We are doing this one live, so it's a little bit different. Saul?
Yes, sir.
For those of us who are joining us on Twitch, which is not our usual platform, we're going to say we are a PlayStation podcast, Triangle Squared. You can find us normally every Monday at 12 p.m. CST, 10 a.m. PST, should have done the opposite, in video format on YouTube. And you can just always have discussions with us in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts on what we're talking about for the week. If you like what we're doing on here, consider going over there, giving us a subscribe, or subscribing to us on here as well when we do stuff occasionally on here, be it streaming, live episodes, or stuff under the Nartec umbrella, which is less PlayStation focused and more just gaming oriented in general. Or you can listen to all of our stuff in podcast services, so iTunes, Google Play Music, all of those, except for Spotify. Still working on that one. But aside from that, you can find us on Twitter at TriangleSQRD, where we tweet all of our weird thoughts and ideas throughout the week, and of course ask for questions when we usually do our episodes. Any question we don't get to normally would go and be compiled into a reader mail episode. We're still doing that. It'll be the one that we do for the first Friday of every month. So next Friday, or this coming up Friday, will be that episode. But every question we get on this week's thing is what we're going to answer today, and that's kind of going to be in lieu of a main topic. Instead, we're just going to have fun hanging out with you guys and supporting you guys, supporting us, which is what makes the show keep going. So with that being said, Saul,
What's up?
What have you been playing this week, since this is still an episode of Triangle Squared, sir?
Liam asked in the chat, where's Podcast Cat? Well, she got kicked out because she was trying to walk on my brand new laptop. We ain't having that.
Yeah, Saul gets that new item thing where like he won't let anybody touch his car a weird way, laptop weird way, phone weird way.
No. I
mean, I respect that though, to be honest, I do.
But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Death's Gambit this week. And you know, that's actually kind of been it. My usual Rocket League Rainbow Six match here and there. And haven't really touched Dead Cells lately, but that's and Divinity 2.
You haven't beaten Dead Cells.
Yeah, no.
But to be fair, it's a game that you can come back to.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty well, actually. So I'm with you on that aspect, but
Divinity 2 has also been really good, but we all knew that.
But how much have you played of it?
Divinity 2?
Yeah.
Shoe fly. It's almost through the first act on my first character.
Ooh, that's a long time, isn't it?
No, not much.
Was it not you that was telling me like the first act is like 20 to 30 hours?
Well, no, I probably said around 10 hours when you start, but since I know how to do everything, there's just stuff in the first act you're not going to...
Podcast cat or death?
Well, Tabby, the podcast cat, is outside, so death.
Wait, did you put her outside?
I put her outside, like on the porch.
You treating my cat that way, bro?
Not really. Hey, there's Jonathan for shenanigans and such. But I'm
about to get these pop-out chats going. Hold up.
Yeah, Brett's slacking. But yeah, other than those...
My computer had to update, bro.
Of course it did. Windows always has to do that at the most inopportune times.
Hakuta says, not letting people touch your stuff is like me not letting anyone touch me. I promise, if anyone tries hugging me, I'll swing.
If I ever meet him in real life, he's gonna get the biggest bear hug in the world.
What if Podcast Cat wins Spider-Man?
I guess Brett gets 2 copies at that point.
Do I just buy myself my copy and consider it to be bought?
No, we actually gotta spend money on a second copy. Gotta fulfill the sweepstakes.
Let's see. Orion Lockheed, I think that is Mr. Blaze, says, kind of want to play the Divinity games, but they seem too long and complicated. I don't know. Is Orion Lockheed's World End, isn't it? There we go.
I don't think so.
Does that mean you're a bear, Saul? Oh, Lord.
I mean...
Yeah, Orion Lockheed, I'm pretty sure, is World End.
Okay. Yeah, they are long and they are kind of complicated, but it's not super hard to get into. It's kind of like D&D where your first like hour and a half and it is. First hour and a half and such is kind of like learning everything, but other than that, not super bad. I will say they're really challenging though.
Yeah, I didn't realize Elder Scrolls Blades was coming out on the 7th as well. To be fair, I mean, trying to think of the word to say this, the game looks fine, but it's not something I would keep up in mind with me gaming because, like, you know, we talk about mobile gaming on the show all the time. Yeah. But basically the way to go about mobile gaming for me is that I will play it. I have nothing against it, but it's something I do when I'm stuck in an area where it doesn't make sense for me to have had my handheld on me for any reason. Like if I'm at work and I have to leave to get my oil changed or something, And I'm sitting in a lobby and I'm like, screw it. I'll play some puzzle game on my phone. That's kind of how I do it. I don't think about, like, when I'm thinking, okay, gaming, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. It's going to be a sit-down experience. If it's on handheld, it'll be sit down in the living room while I'm watching something, or in bed and watching something, whatever it be. Whereas, the main thing, definitely since Vita is kind of dying off and that's my main handheld, then I think right now, definitely this year has been like my routine around gaming has almost become just like, okay, gaming for me is coming home, getting into this room, and starting up a game, and then playing for a few hours as much as I possibly can without interruption. And that's kind of what I think of. So, let's see.
What have you been playing?
I have been playing Death Gambit as well. I beat Death Gambit, but there's a boss or two I missed. I did not fight the Eldritch Council. Somehow I missed them. I ended up going a specific way where when I went up, I realized a little too late that it was the end. And I was like, well, here I am.
Have you fought the, I can't think of its name. It's a very odd name. It's the big Shadow of the Colossus style horse that takes up the screen.
No.
Okay. So, in the very early of the game, you get on a highway. There is a way to go up, but you need a crest.
Yeah, I did that. I love streaming. It's so fun. But
blame it on Liam.
Damn it, Liam. It's because you have too many platinum trophies. That's what we have discovered.
I want to know how many. But yeah, we were talking about Death Gambit, basically. Great game. Just
super great.
So, when you get down to the Bi-Surge area and you have to activate the Hollow Bridge.
Yep.
I was literally not even halfway through in terms of time doing the perfect run of no deaths level 1, and it crashed on me. And now it is completely a problem in which no matter when if I activate that bridge in any file I have uninstalled and reinstalled my game, it crashes. So you have to go that way to end up getting back to Bi-Surge, and now I'm just irritated because I can't go to Bi-Surge at this point. So I'm kind of locked out of that area, and I don't think you have to beat Bi-Surge to beat the game. Yeah.
No, I don't think you have to beat Bi-Surge. No, you don't.
Yeah, you don't, because you can go to the sewers and go into a water area, and then
basically to beat the game, all you have to do is get 3 crests. Right. So the third crest you have to get is from Almovaldo or whatever.
Yeah.
So buy your
the
crest
observatory.
Yeah. That'll be the easiest way to do it. But yeah, no, I beat that. That's been really good. I've been playing Guacamelee too.
I just realized that was not a dab. I really did not intend that to be a dab. Excuse me. I sneezed and my hand went up.
What did you say? Perhaps you always did it Dank Souls? What do you mean? Oh, I'm playing Dark Souls Remastered and I haven't played them forever and I suck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey,
3 months away didn't help. Yeah, I need to play the remastered still. Like I said, I don't know. I think I may work my way backwards in terms of this generation's working them. Technically, it'd be not in release order because did 2's remaster come before 3 officially came, right? Or did that happen after 3?
I'm pretty sure it happened before 3.
I think you're right. So next game in the Dark Souls series I plan to play will be 2, since it's the only one I haven't beaten. And then from then I may go back and play remastered, even though I haven't heard any real strong reason as to why it's worth the amount of money that they charge for it. So,
what do you mean?
Wasn't it $40 or $60 one?
It was 40, yeah.
40, yeah. And a lot of people were saying it just wasn't upgraded enough in their opinion to be worth 40.
It's about 1 or 2?
1.
I mean, okay, yeah, I thought you were talking about 2. No, I was like, 2? Remastered. Yeah, 2 is fantastic.
Yeah, 2 seems reasonable, but it's also not near as old. It was already on a newer engine, so I'm sure it looks even better, upgraded.
If you get the plat before I do, I will be offended.
Yeah. See, not worth $40, and that's what I figured. I mean, a lot of people were talking about definitely the PC version because they stopped selling the original PC version and only sell the remastered now.
Yeah, but they didn't remove it from people who already had it.
Yeah, of course, and that's good. But also, why not give people the original and just buy the original if that's what they wanted, or the option to buy the original if that's what they wanted?
The Metal Pig?
I don't remember.
Oh, no.
Metal Pig.
Yeah, it is.
It's been a long time since I played 1. Long time.
Man, I'm trying to think of the area.
Year it came out.
It's right after the Dragon Bridge. Hey Blake, if you ever have trouble with him again, if you go through the top area, like up the tower, there's the first of all, there's a Black Knight in one of the towers up on the top. But if you go up the stairs, you're gonna come across some regular hollows, and if you go across that little bridge, there's an item called Alluring Skulls. Throw those Alluring Skulls in the fire. The pig will run and kill himself in the fire.
I remember the giant pig in Bloodborne all too well. Bobo says instead of winning Spider-Man, can we just choose Hannah Montana? You know
what? Yeah, and
if that's what you want. Yeah, if you win, Boba May, I will send you the Spider-Man custom case and a copy of Hannah Montana on PS3. but you have to prove to me that you get the platinum. That's my stipulation.
My next custom case will be Hannah Montana.
Do it.
That would be fantastic.
Do it. But I also need you to get the platinum at that point.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Look at that.
Oh, you did that. Oh, smart man.
See, look, he knows what's going on.
Using his head.
He's a Dank Souls user.
Yeah.
Well, so that's about all I've been playing. Guacamelee 2 has been really fun. Corey, I talked in the Discord about it for a second, but the game started off with a lot of great references. It's leaning on its comedy even more than the first game did, even though the first game was, really charming, funny stuff going on. But one of the things this game does a lot is tries to lean on weird references to break up gameplay that are fun, that they're even in the game. It makes sense in a lot of ways. It makes sense with the plot they're using that they can kind of do this. But it also stands to help change the game up, because some ways they're doing it is just leaning far more heavily into the chicken and how much combat you can do with the chicken, and the chicken mode having its own, or polio, whatever, having its own powers. So I know you didn't play the first one. This doesn't mean as much to you, but the game seems like the first one has its platforming moments, because not only do they find ways to work the powers that you unlock into combat by giving enemies shields that color coded to the power that you'd have to use to break them out of that shield. I like that. But also the fact that when you you'll see blocks and stuff that you can only break by using the color coordinated super move. But then also some of them are used in ways that aren't as obvious. So like you'll know that there's a large gap you've got to get. So you've got a super move uppercut and then super move dash punch to get over. But there's no sign to show you that. It's just kind of like you pick it up as you keep playing the game.
You kind of figure it out.
This game is leaning even more into that, and it seems like it's real platform heavy in a couple of ways. Look, the Stoner's here. What's up, Kiki?
What?
Liam says Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to have a triangle squared world label as Frozen. I promise you.
My feelings.
I don't know that we could ever be streamers, because every single time that we try and stream, I feel like there's something that happens that's like there's nothing to do with us. Like in that case, that was just the stream.
That was OBS.
No, that wasn't OBS. It was that.
The cam link?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. I think you just need to get a new case for your computer that doesn't have crap USB ports.
Excuse you, sir.
Hey,
it is an old case. I may do that. Anyway, getting back into it. So I don't think I played anything else. I didn't get around the No Man's Sky this week. Guacamelee has been my main focus. Very good. Josh, get it. It's super good. Shoop is who I'm talking about.
I'm blind.
You are blind. That's why you have glasses, Saul.
Yep. They're all smudgy, and I don't have a cloth.
I wish you would have said that almost like there was more of a revelation to it. Like you took them off, you're like, I'm blind.
I've been blind for years.
Oh, guys. Okay, let's see.
That's just worse.
Well, first of all, before we get into questions, I want to have this a little bit structured like a normal episode, even though the main point of it is just to hang out with everybody. The news for this week, I did not have time. It was Grandpa's 91st birthday today. Thankfully, he's still around with us to be able to do so. We had some ice cream cake with him. It was good fun. But
hold up. You got any leftovers?
A little bitty piece you can have.
You don't know. Little bitty is just going to make you want more.
Look, like that, so look, like.
No, that's like, I have to have at least a third of an ice cream cake.
Oh, okay, well, too bad.
Saul's beard strength is coming in strong. Yeah, it needs to be trimmed real bad.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous. I used to keep mine that long. I just don't do it anymore. I'm doing sales now. It's probably a good thing.
I mean, I interact with customers every day.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I'm not arguing. I think that my people would say a little bit more. My boss would probably be like, okay, why's your beard getting a little out of hand? But everything said.
I'm actually in my work uniform
let's see.
now.
So what's big news this week? Cyberpunk gameplay? First things.
Cyberpunk gameplay, yep. Really cool. I did not watch much, and I don't want to talk about it much. I don't want to say talk about it. Y'all don't talk about it a whole lot in the Twitch chat, just because I am trying to keep kind of dark on it, similar to what I did with Hellblade. And I watched about 10 minutes from the very beginning to about 10 minutes in, and then I kind of looked around in the video. I didn't want to see a whole lot.
Yeah, I did similar, right? Because I watched probably 5 to 7 cumulative minutes, to where mainly what I was focusing on doing was watching it at the very beginning to see what the graphical presentation is at least somewhat aiming to be, because I was curious to see how their first person would look more than anything.
Yeah.
Which I know that they're saying that this is early footage, right? Anything could change, but realistically, even if camera depth changes or not, I'm feeling the first person that they got going on. It reminds me of a more futuristic Dishonored, which is exactly what I want out of it, but with more RPG depth, because Dishonored has some RPG depth, but this is going above and beyond and a little bit more with greater dialogue choices and stuff like that. Watch it all; it's so good. I think it looks good. I'm also trying to keep somewhat hype control on this because there's a number of things that make you go, okay, is this really cool looking? Sure, it looks great, definitely for a dev that's never done anything like this. I think the other thing to think about is holding yourself back because they've never done something like this. Yeah, it's really cool and versatile, showing that they have the ability to do this, and they have the ability to go, well, now we're going to flip into a first-person RPG with a way different setup than what we were doing before. But the other side of it is, of course, they've never done this before, whereas they did have 2 Witcher games under their belt before they decided to just iterate upon it in an open world sense. Now, that was still a huge undertaking, but with this game, they're going even further away from the pedigree they started. There's a chance that that kind of, Saul looking for the spooky.
Yeah, the head. For those that don't know, I'm sure you may have pointed out in your mind and been like, "That's weird." We've had a mannequin head on the in the background for a couple episodes.
I moved it. My goal was to keep it there until someone noticed it.
Liam noticed it too.
Yeah. Orion Lockheed World End, whatever you want to call him, says the game will be long as fuck, so I wouldn't worry about not seeing too much. That's a good point. But I think Saul just wants to be even surprised on a mechanical level, to an extent. I mean,
it's more of a. I'm trying to go in similar to what I did with Hellblade, in which it is just a complete surprise and everything. Like, Hellblade was one of my favorite games last year because of the surprise it provided.
Did you see where Corey said the lamest shirt Saul's ever worn on the podcast?
I'm in my work clothes, Corey. I'll come over there and smack you around a little bit.
Oh, that's great.
Where did it? I don't even see where he. Oh yeah,
up there in the top.
Literally in work clothes. Work clothes.
Hold up, Josh. Who was talking bad about Witcher 3? I wasn't. Witcher 3 is amazing, but what I was getting at is that they had 2 games in the same universe and of a similar style to iterate upon, to where moving to an open world with everything makes more sense than if they would have went from The Witcher 3, or exactly what they're doing makes more sense doing that. And of course that would make sense. They can lead themselves up to that and build up and iterate to that point where now they're completely switching genres. Now, it would have been even more wild if they had never done a truly open world and moved over to Cyberpunk, but play it again. Play 3? Okay. I mean, I have no problem with that.
I still have it downloaded on my PS4.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I see. It's Blake. It's Blake. Witcher 3 is almost a 10. I don't know about Cyberpunk 77. Yeah. Witcher 3 is a great game. I don't know if I'd give it a 10 either, because 10's a hard number to give to something. It's definitely a high, like 9.7. That's what I'm going to say.
I got to zoom in.
Finny Fun gets switched with Achy Breaky Heart. Y'all getting a little wild over here. I don't know what's going on in this chat, but y'all having fun. Saul, are you okay over there?
Yeah, I was zooming in on the badge.
Saul zoomed in so quick, like so far, that he looked like, you ever see an old man on a cell phone and like they have their text open and you're like, there's like 4 words.
I mean, I want you to look at this and tell me like what that is from here.
I have no clue. It just says, oh no.
Exactly. I was trying to figure out, it looks like Keith Bandit from Yu-Gi-Oh! And then it looked like a JoJo
Bandit
character.
Keith, not Keith Bandit.
Well, same thing.
Keith Bandit's a whole other thing. What's up, guys? ATP Tekken. Hey, what's up, Nick? How you doing, buddy?
ATP Tekken.
Blake and his Seamen of Thieves.
I love Poet so much.
Hakuto coming in strong.
But yeah, other than Cyberpunk,
so I think other big things. So really Battlefield 5 got delayed. That's one thing. I wasn't that excited for it anyway. It is interesting to see it get delayed, only by a month though. It would have been more crazy to me if they would have gotten delayed into next year.
Oh, it's definitely not standing up to Call of Duty and Red Dead. So,
well, do you think that that's why they delayed?
100%. Like,
because one thing to note is, and World End has been talking about a lot, has been that the pre-orders from everything that we can see have been very tepid in comparison to even last year. Battlefield 1 actually had very strong pre-order numbers. So I'm a little confused.
Well, I think it's that everybody knows their pre-orders are low now. So I think it's that it's coming out around 2 big games. Nobody's going to buy it to play those other 2 bigger games, so they're going to move it a month behind. And I've seen a couple people on Reddit and Twitter state that they may actually pick it up now that it's not around them. So, you know, that's what I think, at least. I don't think it got delayed for any other reason. Well, because the betas and stuff have played pretty well from what everybody said.
That's the excuse they fall back on, which is not a bad excuse. I mean, I think it's a similar excuse that we got with the Vampire Souls-like game. I don't know why I'm skipping out on it right now.
Vampire?
Code Vein.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, They said that from the report they gave is that they got a lot of feedback from people playing the open beta and on show floors, and they want to change a couple of things, and they'd like to have time for it. But to be fair, those are things they probably could have done with either a day one patch or shortly after thing. But I guess there's a mixture of saying that they probably, I can see it being a little bit of both. You know, they're like, well, we get away from Call of Duty, we get away from this since our pre-orders are already lower. We get more time to work on the game, and we get to launch it where we don't have to get people used to playing it for 2 weeks just to change it 2 weeks later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
So is that my Mazda key that's on top, or my old Mazda key that's on the cloud lifter?
No, that is my key to my truck.
Okay, I was gonna say, did somebody already break it? Oh, speaking of which, where's my license plate at? Is it in here somewhere?
It's on the back of the couch.
Okay, cool. I will grab that on my way out. But yeah, so
Fallout 69.
What else happened this week? Not like a whole bunch of stuff other than that. Sony came out with another crossplay thing that a lot of even more people are getting mad at.
Which is funny because I want to talk about that real quick.
It's almost the same variation of what they said.
It's literally what they've been saying. So for people acting like this is news, it's not. This is what they've been saying forever. The clickbaity, the one article that we saw that was posted in there today by Jeff, clickbaity title says that they said that they don't do it
by
because they're the
Hazmat
best.
Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, who else? I
posted
was
it.
like, who else would have posted, or who else is named Jeff in our chat?
I don't know. But I mean, the gist of what they're saying, I guess you could try and pull that, but it's a little leading of a title to say that because Sony did not literally come out. You know how ballsy it would be for them. I mean, don't be wrong, they probably could, but way more ballsy for them to say, "Oh, hey, we don't do cross-buy because we're just the best." That'd be a whole different ball game. Crossplay. Sorry, we don't do crossplay because we're just the best, and there's nothing else to keep up with us. They said the same thing they've been saying. They mentioned PC crossplay and that they do crossplay where they see that it makes the most sense for the user base. Now, to be fair, the argument can be made that the best for the user base in Fortnite is not just going to phones and PC, that it'd be best to open it up for everyone because of how big the game is. But all I'm getting at is mainly this is not really any off of the same lines they've been saying for the year that this has been going on.
Yeah, one little sentence out of it stuck out to me is like that last that's kind of messy. Hey, what's up, Exotic Bike?
Yeah. I forget he's excited about on here. I'm getting used to seeing Barrage or Burge, whatever his last name is pronunciation wise. How you liking that 500 million? Did you get it yet? Let me know. It's beautiful. I have mine set up on the stand. I don't usually do that, but this is very pretty on the stand, so I went ahead and rolled with it.
Poet says, I hope in 76ers radioactive mutant incest hillbilly raiders, aka Resident Evil 7. It's this at that point you might as well play Resident Evil 7. But yeah, there was one sentence in that entire statement that stuck out to me, and that's when they said that we believe that
PlayStation is the best place to.
Yeah, I just like now for you, that's a choice that people have to make. That's
of course it is, but I also think it. Okay, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate for you for a second because obviously with their sales number, the vast majority, I'm going to say the average person who games does apparently think that PlayStation is the best place to play. Otherwise, they wouldn't have 84+ million consoles.
No, yeah, that's a common line of thinking. But to have the basically a Sony head,
I get
be the one to say like this is the best place, like this for what we think.
And of course, a lot of people. But I mean, to be fair, that is a company verbiage. Microsoft says the same thing. They say, hey, we think we're the best. Our players are more hardcore. That happened this week. They said that they have more hardcore players than PlayStation and that their attach rate's higher. And I don't know. I didn't actually look into that, but basically what ends up going on, who's Billy Rivers?
I don't know.
What's up, Billy Rivers? I don't know who you are, but what's up?
Hello there, my guy. Did I know that no, Microsoft, I don't know, nor do I care. But Liam is in the Discord. What trash.
So,
what?
I don't know. This is more of just a conjecture on it, but World End says, I think it was a throwback at Xbox saying Xbox Live is better than PSN, so that's why they refused crossplay originally. Possible.
Yeah, that's actually a good possibility.
But I also think that what you've got to realize is that companies are always going to say that we believe that we're the best place for people to play because it's their business. Of course they're going to say that. Of course they want to be the best place to play so they get the majority of sales. That makes sense. That's in line with normal thinking of a company. I don't think it's that weird for them to say it. I don't know why people are freaking out. One thing we didn't really move on to, Wilhelm.
Talk about Liam's last name, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Was it drop? Because speaking of the drop, I'm just gonna say this real quick. You don't realize how many trash games are coming out on PlayStation to heat of the drop for 75 episodes in a row. Dude, there's so much garbage coming out every week.
No, dude, there absolutely
how does Sony let this happen?
Here, I want to say something for a second. anything you want to say, go ahead and get out, because I'm actually curious. You may be thinking the same thing as I am to an extent, but roll ahead, because you brought it up. Let's see what you got.
Well, I was gonna say the only thing in the drop that's worthy this week, other than Spider-Man, is oh crap, what was it? I remember sitting here thinking, Zone of the Enders VR.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the
everything. Yeah, a lot of other stuff in it is just like a lot of like almost shovelware.
Okay, it's interesting you use that word, right?
Right.
Because I've seen that word recently, and I think it's got to be a mixed bag of how you go about doing things. Because I think shovelware goes a couple of different ways, but I get the intent behind the word and kind of what you're saying with it. To an extent, you're right. You know, I agree. We've talked about it loosely, and a lot of people talk about it. I mean, Callin's talked about it a lot. I think Square XO have brought it on. I think it's their main topic for their episode. Shout out to those guys. Shout out to Dan. Dan left Square XO, but we are going to see if we can get him on a bonus episode for us. We love the guy. He'd be real nice. I think it'd be cool to hear his perspective on where the industry is from a more British viewpoint, because, you know, we talk everything through an American filter. Yeah, and see, that's a great way to put it, because Blake says there's a lot of trash on every console.
Oh no, I totally
there
agree.
Is,
the Switch is even worse.
The Switch is bad for how long it's been out.
But
that's the problem.
Back to what I was saying though, that, you know, I don't realize how much is on there until you do drop for 75 episodes in a row.
Yeah, and you really start to hyper focus on the games you don't usually see.
Square XOXO didn't bring it up and got buried for it. What?
What is Square XOXO?
I don't know. I think
I got buried for it. A Square XO. I see what he means.
So, yeah, I was gonna say, is he talking about?
Okay, Liam. Out of curiosity, what they get buried for? I'm assuming they have a lot of backlash about the fact that it even was happening, because I think it's hard not to argue that there is some extent of a lack of quality control. But the flip side of the lack of quality control, the flip side to that is that some game is going to be for everyone. I pretty much. Now, of course, as a platform holder, it is you do have the ability, and you should have the want to go in and say, hey, this is the level of quality that we want to see, and if we feel that it's below that quality, then we're going to kindly refrain from it on there. From a business perspective, it doesn't end up working to an extent, because, of course, it's hard for them to say that when any game that sells, they get a part of. So it makes more sense for them to let the people pay for them to get the game certified so they can go into the store, right? Sony has to pay for that to happen. So the game pays them for that. They make a little bit of money off of that. They make money off the back end of sales. So there's more money in them letting as many games on there and just hoping they make as much money as they can on a digital platform. Liam, are you British me?
Possibly.
I am so confused at what's going on here, but I love it.
But yeah, it's like I was like, can we do drop? I'm like, there's no point in doing drop. Spider-Man and Zone of the Enders and like everything else
are
is
the
garbage.
Big games. Now that's why I was getting at. I don't think it's completely fair to say the games don't have a place there. I get that it would be lovely. Look, IMAO should have not been allowed. I agree. Because
the other game, the tile game,
yeah, the 100 greatest or whatever, it ended up name changing, I think, at some point. There's got to be a level, right? There's easy platinums.
You have Arcade Islands Volume 1. You have
okay, no, you said the only two games. Immortal Unchained is not shovelware.
The Dark Souls of shooters.
Oh, but it's not shovelware. It's
okay,
a game that's
garbage games.
I mean, you can say that it's not going to be good. I don't think that that's the same as saying that it's shovelware, right? I think shovelware is go up to what the first game that you were talking about, and also I don't know about that, but that Planet Alpha looks really cool to me. Either way,
I don't know where Planet Alpha was.
Down in the it's alphabetical, Saul. Dragon Quest is a big mention for this week. I think there's something worth that for people who like Destiny 2. Forsaken's a big deal for them, but that Arcade Islands or whatever.
Where are we going?
There's a market for it.
Oh.
That Arcade Islands Volume 1. There's a market for that. Is it thoughtless and kind of put on quickly and a quick cash grab? Probably. Look,
it's 33 games.
Yeah, collect treasure as you master 33 games.
That's like when you buy one of those little handheld games that come with like 60 famous titles and they're all ripoffs of one of the other.
Yeah, and look, what's interesting about that is that some of these people are probably people who are getting into development for the first time, and they're putting out a game that is easy for them to get a little bit of experience under their hands, hoping that enough people buy that so that they have a little bit more money to focus on a better game, so that they can slowly work themselves up to making something in the vein of like what Drinkbox did with Mutant Blob, which is a very simple game but people enjoyed. Then they did a sequel to that. Then they got to Guacamelee, which was far more of a real game or a traditional game in nowadays, because
there's a fine line though. And
there is, but at the same time, you've got
a game that can run on your cell phone perfectly fine, and why is it on my console? And then games,
but why not? Because
quality.
if you go off of that, Guacamelee can run on the phone, no problem. I want that game on console.
The last sentence is relevant, what I said, and there's the lack of quality. 33 games.
There's a mixture, right? Quality is in the eye of the beholder. I think that there has to be some objective sense. You really have to look at a game like I Am Mayo, or My Name is Mayo, whatever it is. I Am Bread is what I was thinking about. But you have to look at a game, My Name is Mayo, right? I Am Bread actually has more playable value than My Name is Mayo. My Name is Mayo has no real objective. You're literally just tapping on a jar of mayonnaise to get a platinum. That is the point of buying the game. And at some point, Sony needs to say, okay,
it's like the Troll Hunter game.
What is the real value in this game? I Am Bread's weird, quirky, and super like. There's a group of people who think it's funny and it's interesting. I think another great example of that sold really well is like Goat Simulator. It's a super weird game, but there's real fun to be had in it because it's goofy and over the top. You know what I mean?
Oh no, not that game.
I don't even know what you're looking at, Saul.
Boy, that game is terrible. That game is one of the worst Switch games in the world. I didn't know that was on PS4. I thought it was just a Switch.
That's an interesting thing. So, Nick says he can't wait for Dragon Quest. That's why I think that Dragon Quest is also a very big grab. There's a lot of people.
No, I did forget about Dragon Quest 11. I'll probably pick that up on a sale.
Look, Kiki mentioned, Goat Simulator. There's a lot of games that are awkward and like really goofy and funny. I think Gary's Mod, right? Gary's Mod's a really weird game that doesn't have much going for it, but it's also like $2.
You're ignoring the fine line I'm talking about, because those games are meant to be goofy. They're meant to be fun, and then you have games that are just, you could tell by the quality of them, that are hastily put together just for a cash grab. Well, which is what a lot of this is.
And that's what I'm saying. I agree to some extent. Ooh, Overlord was on there. I love Overlord.
I do too.
It would come back.
It was free on PC not so long ago.
Look, what I'm getting at is mainly what I've already said. Some of these are just literally going to be cash grabs, but some of them are also going to be people slowly moving up to more and more like bigger games. So a perfect example, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I think y'all will know, those games are trash. Guy on the left. Oh, me. I forget I'm on the left mirror. What games are trash? Tell me, out of curiosity. Because there are a lot of games that are trash in my opinion, but opinion's a very odd thing. I'm Brett, by the way, just to give you some kind of marker.
Brett's name is Mayo, says Corey. The cat is out of the bag.
Yeah, My Name is Mayo is trash, and I think there's a lot to look at in Life of Black Tiger, but there is gameplay there. It's not worth the amount of money that they're trying to say that they're trying to sell it for. But okay, you think of My Name is Mayo, right? And while I don't think it should have been on there, if I'm not mistaken, and I haven't played it, I can't remember the name exactly, but I think the same people that made My Name is Mayo went on to make a game that was like Mr. Misagi or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know they made another game. I'm trying to find that troll game. Liam, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the troll game with like the crossbow.
Mr. Misagi? Is that what it is? See, I don't know what kind of game this is either, but this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is made by the same developer who did that. So basically what ends up happening is that they're moving more and more towards something that has some form of actual gameplay value. And as they're doing that, they're working their way towards eventually being able to make a cool game, right? I think that there's, like, one of the perfect examples is you can go on a date with the Mayo Jar. It's a dating visual novel. Okay, so look, William's talking about, or Liam, is the bread game is trash. I haven't played it, so I promise I don't have any kind of, it probably is a bad game, but there is gameplay to be had. Tapping on a jar of mayo.
Just kidding, that game is awesome.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I haven't played it. I have no clue. But I've seen someone play it long enough to go, there is real gameplay. It's weird. Okay, a perfect example, and I think Liam could back me up on this. Cat Lateral Damage is a goofy, stupid game.
It's not the Troll and I think it's Ogre. Funny. I think it's Ogres.
What are you talking about?
It's a PS4 trophy hunting game. It's like, it only came out for trophy hunting. I spelled trophy wrong, but it'll fix itself. And it literally looks like a Nintendo 64 game. Oh, I wish I could
Apparently
find
they
it.
have another
Here we
game,
go.
That's
Orc Slayer. Orc Slayer is what it's called.
See, this is news to me. Haven't seen that.
Oh boy, you're about to be in for a treat when you look at this.
Yeah, but okay. So did you? I think you came in one day while I was playing Cat Lateral Damage, right?
Yes.
Okay, the game is stupid and goofy, but it was also extremely cheap, so I could see that.
That's a PS4 game.
Okay. Looks like it was a phone game that got ported over, broadening the audience.
No, I think this game was made only for trophies, though.
I mean, maybe,
it's one of the
but
most,
there is gameplay. You know what I'm saying?
It's one of the most popular like trophy hunter games because I think it's so easy to get all the trophies.
Liam and his million platinum says, "Yep, you shoot arrows insanely slow, easy plat as well." Okay, so but my point is still that there's more game to be had there than something like My Name Is Mayo. There is literally no value to My Name Is Mayo because you're tapping on a jar of mayonnaise, a lid. That's it.
Bird cakes.
I haven't seen Bird Cakes. Troll and I is a bootleg of The Last Guardian plus Uncharted. That's weird. Haven't seen that. Is that the one that you were looking at?
That's the one I was looking at, yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing the thing, but I haven't seen the gameplay.
If I remember correctly, like they couldn't get the game to run above 10 frames per second on the Switch.
Oh, wow.
Slideshow, basically, at that point.
Okay, so this is what I say. Consoles are a little differently, right? But the ultimate person, and the ultimate person who would be the follower, right? Who you would follow, they would set the industry lead on this would be Steam. Steam have talked a couple times about doing something, but have not been able to either have not tried or have been effectively
they don't have enough resources.
They have not been effectively able to really control the problem they have with games coming out that are subpar. But the bigger thing is
Corey is drunk.
He probably is, even though they wouldn't let him use his Texas license up there.
He's so small.
I need to quickly mention that Golden Girls was mentioned by I think Sarah, if I'm remembering the way her name structure is. Yes, Golden Girls is fantastic. Me and Blaze had a conversation about that the other day. It's so funny. Still today, it's super relevant. It's
never watched
it. Anyway, I just want. I mean, all I was getting at with the music anecdote, or the music comparison, is that if someone wants to write and record, okay, like I can record a whole album here, right? If I want to write, record, and poorly mix and put out an album by myself, I should be able to do that. And if somebody wants to buy that, so I can get money, and can hopefully either pay for someone to more professionally do my next album, or pay for lessons to get better, whatever it is. It's a cycle. I put it out there, and it's up to us to decide whether to buy it or not. So ultimately, I think it has to come down to if we want to stop these games from coming out there, to some extent, I think that we just have to tell people to stop buying them. We can say that My Name Is Mayo is a ridiculous game. We can say that this 100 plus is a ridiculous game, but if people are buying them just because they want to add one more number to their stupid trophy count, the blame also falls on them.
Well, the analogy is also a little different, too, because in order to put your album out for general sales for the public, into a wide open space like PSN is, you'd have to be on a record label, which means you're not putting out bad music.
No, that is not true.
Where are you going to get a big sized audience such as PSN to be able to buy an album? I
mean, you can put your album on iTunes yourself.
But I'm talking about with the promotion and stuff that it comes out with, and get it featured on websites and stuff.
You can do all. I can spend as much money as I want to do that. I can. I mean, I literally. Sounds like it's more accessible to advertise a game though and throw it together quicker than it is to the album. With the amount of outreach it's going to get, the game's going to have more outreach. I don't know. I mean, it's not a perfect metaphor, but the basic principle is if I want to make some kind of creative endeavor, if I want to not put enough time and effort into it, that's my business, And if I put it out there and people support it, and that gives me enough drive to want to do it again, it's the person who supported me fault. Now, it doesn't mean people shouldn't support me. Maybe they like it, and that's what they want to do. Maybe they want to see me do more. I just think it's an interesting thing.
World End says PSN's a more guarded community. I expect a level of quality.
And I do get that. That's where the music thing is different, because you can't go throw a game out on PSN if you want to. You can't pay to get it on there unless you go to Sony and say, hey. iTunes is a little differently. Literally, all you have to do is go to a website that will do all that for you and just pay them.
Right.
So, it is a mixed bag. I just don't think it's completely... I don't know. I don't think that I can agree that none of the games need to be there, because some of them are rough around the edges, but they could lead to cooler
I'm not
games.
Saying all of them.
I know.
Like, they don't need to be there.
Cold Herd, though, going back to some Far Cry 5 references. But it would be nice to see a reduction in the number, but it is kind of what it is, and I think it's...
Wait a second here.
I'm trying to think of the best way to word it, but my point's out there.
Do you want to announce the winner now or in the end? Do you have the winner?
I don't. I haven't chose it yet. I'm going to go to the website and do that live. So it's cool. Let's go ahead and start answering some questions. I can't remember of anything else besides Puddlegate, which we can quickly cover. And because I think it's interesting and I want to have it on here more for posterity's sake. But right now everybody's freaking out on the internet, or I say everybody, but that big vocal attacker group that ends up always coming out whenever they want to say that the game's been downgraded, saying that Spider-Man's been downgraded because a picture that compares the scene from E3 2016, I want to say, maybe 2017, I can't remember.
No, 2017.
Yeah, with this new one where the puddles are different in size and shape, and the reflections and screen space stuff are all different on Spider-Man. And basically what's going on is that they're all crying about that for a number of different reasons, while Insomniac is persisting that there is no downgrade. Now, here's what I think is most ballsy about it. Of all the people who have been claiming downgrade to different games, Insomniac have been very vocal and come out outspokenly, and instead of just either ignoring it or coming out and saying, yeah, we had to downgrade a little bit to make sure that the game had an acceptable level of performance for everybody, they have come out strongly saying that there's no I will win. Anyway, they're saying that there is no downgrade at all, that instead there's been a change in different technologies, the way they render his suit, the way that light reflects off of it, different post-processing effects, like the way that motion blur and stuff affects. So when you see a screenshot in motion of a moment that's supposed to be in motion, the screenshot looks worse as the blur pipeline is way better now. So when you see the motion blur in a still image, it doesn't portray the correct level of detail.
Also, it could have rained in one moment and then not in the other.
And that's another thing is, are there dynamic puddles? You know what I mean? But people are saying that they removed the puddles because the screen space reflection would have taken up a lot of resource. But then they've come back and said that there are other parts of the game that have massive amounts of puddles and have no slowdown. So basically what it comes down to is that we're going to have to trust Insomniac in this. This is standard outrage culture. This is people who just want to come out and say things and want to call things false advertisement. I don't think it's fair to consider these things false advertisement. Some games do it on a level. I think that it's fair enough to call Watch Dogs false advertisement. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I don't think it's right to say that a Spider-Man and the way that these games are designed and developed and how things change. I think that the other thing about that is, don't call for anything until you have the game in your hands, or somebody that you trust gets the game in their hands and can tell you undoubtedly, yes, this is noticeably worse than what I was expecting based off of what we've shown. So, but more, I think it's interesting that somebody would actually sit there, in terms of Insomniac, if there was a downgrade and they were being so ballsy as to say that there was no downgrade,
oh man,
then how ballsy, dude? Because it would come back on them so hard. I actually think that because the way that that Insomniac is handling this, I don't expect a downgrade. I expect it to look beautiful when I have it in our console.
And you guys, I'm sure we'll do an impressions episode on it, and you guys will definitely hear our true thoughts after spending some time with it. But I guess we'll hop into it. We have a lot of questions, like almost as many questions as our reader mail.
Puddlegate. I love that that's what it's being called. People are ridiculous.
I mean, they missed a real opportunity calling it Watergate.
All right, so you go ahead and hop on to Twitter. I'm going to make sure we don't have any Facebook ones.
Sure thing. So we have Ryan. He says, do you guys like any IRL sports? Or, I can't even say this word because he's messed it up so bad. Arkansasians.
I think about
people
Asians
from Arkansas
that live in Arkansas, Arkansasians.
Yeah, he said Saints fans. No, if you're a Saints fan around here, you're probably going to get shot. But it's Arkansan.
You were so close.
You know you weren't.
Arkansian. He's pretty close.
Arkansan. It's like Arkansas A-N.
Yeah, Arkansan.
There's no I.
Yeah.
Hey, that's just some kind of like, somebody better clip that, and that was matched up pretty perfectly well. I don't like any sports like anymore. I used to be really into what is college league football called? It's been that long since I watched it. And whatever college league football is called, somebody help me out here. But that used to be my jam, and I still play Madden games every now and then when I just need something to play, and that's really it though. Like.
So, okay, I'm going to basically be on the same thing. I respect a lot of sports. I respect, as crazy as it sounds, I actually I love NASCAR in the sense of, like, I can watch it, and, like, really all racing. Racing is very intense, and I think that people are a little bit crazy hard on it, and they go, well, it's just turning left. It's like, no. I promise you. It's turning left at 175 miles per hour on a banked up shoulder that if you make one small move wrong, you can hit into the person that's riding right up beside you trying to just shave that second off. It's a very intense sport. It's a very dangerous sport. A lot of people die. A lot of people get badly injured. And it takes a lot. Dude, they're in cars that with no air conditioning, extreme heat.
Oh, yeah,
suit,
and pressure.
Fire retardant shoot. It's an incredibly intense sport, and I don't think that people give it the real love that it deserves. Blake mentioned skateboarding on here. I do love skateboarding. I will always love skateboarding.
Yeah, I guess I forget that's a sport, but yeah, skateboarding's pretty cool.
It's that you view it as a lifestyle almost to an extent, because skateboarding can be done in a very different way. It can be done in all parts of life where you don't normally see people do that with all other sports. It's still confined to like a crappy basketball court or an open field that you're playing football in. You know, it's a little different. Soccer, I want to give a good shout out to. I do love soccer, and I really respect soccer, and it's a very intense sport. I love playing the FIFA games. I just can't watch every soccer game. I don't have the time to.
I'm one of those people that when the World Cup comes out, I catch all the way back up.
Absolutely.
And
I
watch the World
didn't
Cup.
watch all of them. I watched a good bit of soccer during that too. Me and Blaze talked about some of it. There's a lot of good games going on. It's a sport I respect, but I'm not a huge sport fan. I think me and Ryan have talked about that to some extent, but I think it was really focused around how I don't care for football. And I really don't. I really respect basketball as well. I respect all the sports. I think that football is the one that I think is I'm not talking bad on football. It's just that of all of them, it does a lot of damage to people. And I think that football careers can ruin a lot of people's lives. You see a lot of, and Joe Rogan talks about this all the time, but the CETs, whatever they are, what do they actually call it? Ischemic something? I can't remember. But basically,
I don't know what you're trying to say.
It's a brain damage. I mean, and these people walk around with brain damage.
Right?
It's something like a ECT or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. But basically, these people walk around with massive brain damage that eventually leads them to doing crazy things or not being able to live a fulfilled life because they wanted to play a few years in a sport. And the number is ridiculous. Like a massive number of players leave the game or still are in the game with these. It's very crazy.
I mean, they have to. Like, it's a trap at that point. They get out. They lose
exactly.
all the
I
money.
mean, it's crazy.
But he has another question that I think we can answer very short and sweet. Is anyone excited for Forsaken, the Destiny
Hey, Blake,
expansion?
thanks for joining us, buddy. Good seeing you. You
Thank
can
you,
catch up
Blake.
on the rest if you want to, but otherwise, we'll talk to you later. Need to hop on Sea of Thieves with that new update? We will. I just need to update it on my computer. I'm still paying for Games Pass because I'm lazy and never disconnected it.
Yeah, I am too.
And I want to play Forza. So
Forza's
that.
the week after Spider-Man, right? That's not. I know it's very soon.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
See, look, exactly. World End says, it's crazy how you can have severe brain damage and never know.
Yeah,
exactly.
I
mean, these people literally go through.
I'm
and
sure
they don't know
I have a
anything
little
different.
bit of brain damage.
So that's my thing about football. I play a little bit, but it's too much contact that it's kind of like rugby. It's like there's just too much. But then again, football's whole point is like, well, hit this guy as hard as you can, whatever you see, like however you can. That's the end goal. We got to make sure we can stop this guy, no matter the cost. And it's something that I can respect, but I really wish that it would change more so for the people that get into it, not to be ruining their lives by doing so. So,
are you sure it's October?
October 4th. Well, we got some time, don't we?
No, is it really that far away?
I think at one point
October 2nd.
Yeah.
Oh wait, initial release date. So probably October 4th is right. My voice got real
I think
high
that you
there.
get it a couple days early if you pre-order the certain version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that.
But to answer Ryan's question, I know there's people excited for Forsaken. I'm not one of those people. So like I'm not really looking forward to it. I probably won't end up playing it.
Of all of the expansions they've done so far, it looks the best.
It does, but I still
Still not excited.
No, yeah.
But that's also because I feel very done with Destiny 2. That may change with it being free. I am totally down with anyone who wants to hit us up to do a couple of raid runs, as I will try.
I'll for sure hop in and help people out.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. I have one good character that I can probably bump up. I would love to do it. I think it's very fun. The game has its fun moments, but being able to put your life into it the way that the game demands, I'm over.
I was gonna say if we have people who will play consistently and a lot, with us, then I would for sure jump back in and play with people. It's just something that the only other person I used to play with for a lot, he doesn't even play it much anymore. So there's kind of no motivation. Rod also asked, who's getting that firewall this weekend? I don't know what that is.
Firewall 0 Hour is the new Rainbow Six thing that I was talking about, the tactical shooter that's a VR game. Looks really cool. I don't know that I'm getting it now. I've had a lot of problems playing my VR lately with Grandpa. I'm trying to figure out the best way for me to go about doing that. I was thinking about that last night because I've yet to get to play Rick and Morty VR, though I have it sitting over there. What I think my game plan is, whenever Kyrie goes to bed at night, and I can I think one night a week, whenever I have a VR game I want to play, I'll be like, all right, Han, I don't need you in here because I need all the room I can get. Go chill out in the living room. Go chill out in the room by yourself. I'm going to dedicate some time to this thing I spend a lot of money on because I do enjoy VR.
Yeah.
But it takes a couple hours. So Kyrie goes to bed 8:30. I could play from 8:30 to 12 and get a couple hours in.
Especially with Zone of the Enders coming out. I bet that's going to be sick in VR.
I think that would be a cool VR game. So that's kind of what I'm going for. I don't know if I will get Firewall Zero Hour yet. It looks more like what I want because it's free movement in a Rainbow Six / SOCOM style gameplay thing. I actually think that may be one of the better examples of getting you to kind of like a VR game. I don't know if you'll try it out, but if I pick it up, you should.
Yeah, I definitely will. Mr. Josh, hey there. We know you're here. He says, who gives a better hug? Me, for sure. No doubt about it.
Who gives more hugs?
Me.
That's a good question.
For sure.
Dude, I give hugs a lot.
I don't prefer handshakes with like my friends. I prefer
no,
hugs.
dude.
Like Corey, like he got here. I was waiting on you because you had a flat tire or whatever.
Yeah.
Never met Corey in my life. And like he was walking up, and like I think he went to do a handshake or a fist bump. I just gave him a hug. I'm like, no. I told him. I was like, no, man. I was like, we hug around here. We don't.
Yeah, I hug all my friends. It's one of those weird things I do. Me and Blaze had a conversation last weekend about you kind of go through life and anything could happen to anybody at any moment, right? So I keep it very much in my mind to tell my friends and family or anybody that I care about because I'm one of those people where certain friends reach that level of family to me. Blaze being one of them. I mean, I consider you family at this point. It's one of those things where I tell y'all I love y'all all the time, which I know some people think it's weird, but I'm like, look, dude, I do love them, and I want to make sure that they know that, like, right? Because it could be anything. Literally, it could be that one night you're having a hard night, and I'm not saying this has happened. I don't believe this would ever happen to you, but I like to think that if you or Blaze or any of my friends were ever at a point where they were so desperate that they didn't feel like anybody cared for them, they can think back about all the times I've gone. I mean, I go out of my way to make sure that they know. I'm like, hey, I love you.
Yeah.
And I don't just pull up in weird situations, but I never leave one of my friends realistically. I was saying like, bye, be careful, I love you. It's very rare that I don't say that because it's something in me. I feel like I care more, and this is going to sound crazy to some people. I'm a very family's more than blood person. So, I care about Blaze more than I care about majority of my family. And I really mean that. And that's kind of a crazy thing.
Well, you kind of contradict yourself.
I said family's more than blood. So
that's the same thing.
There's a better word. I don't know why I'm saying it that way, but there's more to family than just being blood.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense.
I don't believe that blood makes you family. I feel like that doesn't matter. Family is who you choose to put yourself around. So I'm one of those people.
Kiki says, don't forget the Tales versus Final Fantasy question. If you're talking about the Tales series versus Final Fantasy series, objectively and subjectively, Final Fantasy.
Here's where we're going to have a little bit of back and forth.
Nope.
A little bit of back and
forth.
Nope. There's eras. I would actually say that in the PS3 generation,
I mean,
dude,
you had one real Final Fantasy game in the PS3 gen.
Well, what do you?
That's deemed as one of the worst ones.
What's the real one that you consider?
13.
So you don't consider 13.2 and 13.3 to be real Final Fantasy games?
No, they're part of 13. I'm talking about
but they're still individual games. So in the sense
I guess, but they're all the same. Like they're all the same universe, though.
Yeah, but they all three play extremely different.
Like if you asked me how many Final Fantasies are there on PS2, I would say 10 and 12. And technically 11, I guess.
I get what you're saying, but at the same
I wouldn't say 10 too.
I think of a generational thing, right? There's some really great Tales games, but I actually got to say during the PS2 generation, while I think Final Fantasy X is a great game and I think Final Fantasy 12 is a great game, Final Fantasy 11 was really cool for what it was trying to do, but I'm still not. Hold
on here. Josh said he wants his hug question. Josh, I need you to listen to the podcast a little bit better, sir. We answered your hug question. I am the better hugger.
Boy, that's how we got into the whole discussion.
Yeah, we were talking about hugs, sir. Sir, I need you to listen. Don't worry, I'll hug you too, Josh, Liam, and Kiki if we ever meet y'all. I would probably hug. I can't ever pronounce her name, Sarah, but like that may get weird with Liam, so I tend to avoid that.
So World Then says, I don't do intros, outros with people. Never was into those things. The weirdest thing to me is when another man leaves a good night in chats, bruh. What's funny about that is that almost every time that we go to bed, me, Liam, and a couple people are
I don't ever like really say good morning unless I wake up and I happen to check the chat as everybody else is saying good morning.
Yeah, and you say it in response. I can do that too.
I don't really.
I'm normally not the first.
I'm not gonna lie. Like one of my biggest like any amount of hatred is like when I have friends over and it comes to that moment of like walking them out or like having to say goodbye. It's just one of those things that like with you it's different, but like with Joe it's kind of like one of those things like we standing there for a second. And I'm like. In my head, I'm like, get the hell out. Like, I'm ready to go to sleep. But at the same time, it's like, all right, man, good to see you. It's like, it's always that like awkward exchange in a way.
I can see that. I mean, I can see that. It's a mixed bag. I don't always have to do. Really, because you normally had to park in the back, and I just kind of walk you out anyway.
Whenever that happens, it's dark out there.
It's super dark out there. It doesn't bother me. My thing about good night and good morning is, really, I normally say it when I'm literally in a conversation because I'm more saying it as an acknowledgement that I'm gonna have to go. So it's like, hey, I gotta go, guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Night.
Yeah, that's also me very kindly.
I'm not just gonna hop in and go, good night, guys. Yeah, randomly. That's just not what I do. But that's I
do like it though when there are people in a conversation that say that because I'm like, cool. Now I won't respond to that. Expect a response back. But to get back to the real stuff, yeah, I think that Final Fantasy is the more meaningful series. I think that there.
I'll give you that. Final Fantasy had way more impact on the industry.
Yes.
Now I think what he's saying here is personal preference.
Oh,
I
definitely.
know your personal
Final
preference
Fantasy.
is that.
Yeah.
I'm still going to say it's an era thing, right? Because even the PS2 era, I actually think that the
no.
What? Star Ocean is what I was going to get. I think the Star Ocean games during the PS2 era were actually better than the Final Fantasy games to me. And they were more often, and they were really good. I say more often. I mean,
I guess
they were and weren't. I don't know. To be fair, I guess I'm kind of conflating Star Ocean 2, which if I recall is a PS1 game actually, and Star Ocean 3 Until the End of Time. Those are both games I played during the PS2 era, even though I think Star Ocean 2 is technically a PS1 game.
Was it?
Yeah, because I think the original Star Ocean's a SNES game.
Japan only SNES game, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, yeah, like I think that like maybe
Star Ocean game was But
did it ever come out in America?
Yeah, it did. I played it on. I actually remember that I played it on PSP. That's an interesting thing. I forgot all about that. But that was back whenever I was just playing a lot of games. Star Ocean 2 is what I couldn't remember. I think it's a PS1 game though, because it's Star Ocean the second story. Yeah, it's a PlayStation 1 game.
Interesting. I thought it was a
but
PS2
I did not
game.
play that game until after I played Kingdom Hearts. As weird as that is.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things.
But yeah, I mean, when you think about though, I guess if by era and you say PS2, GameCube is included.
Yes.
Because Symphonia is a really good one.
Symphonia is a great game. Tales of the Abyss is a great game.
Heart R I hear is good. I've never played it.
Heart R is a Vita remake, but the original is Tales of Hearts.
Heart R was also
Tales of Graces
F
on PS3. Dude, there's a lot of good Tales of games on PS3 by nature of them coming back around.
Well, see,
that's a hard thing to say about because
the problem is the same with both series right now is that current ones have been trashed to me. Like Berseria did not hold my attention. 15 did not hold my attention at all.
Wait, you played Berseria? I thought
I had the beta.
Oh, okay. I have Berseria and haven't started it yet, but I intend to.
That's the one with the girl with the black hair, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I had the demo for that game, and
Zestiria did not do anything for me.
That's the newer one.
That's the one that came out before Berseria.
That's right.
The first PS4 one. I didn't love it. Xillia, great. Xillia 2,
it's weird because
not so great because of gameplay decisions they chose to make. The story was okay. I think that my thing with Tales of has got some of the coolest games, and I think of the PS3 between all the Final Fantasy games that came out on PS3 and Xillia is better. We got Xillia super late over here too, but I love Xillia. It was a game that it never ended when I thought it was going to end, but I didn't want it to end. Does that make sense?
Yeah, World said it perfectly. I want to play Berseria because the anime girl in the box art. There you go. She is. See,
that's great. I'm glad
attractive.
someone said that. He says Berseria is amazing, but Zestiria is trash, even though they are the same universe. I knew they were the same universe, but I've heard a lot of people say that Berseria plays better, and feels more true to the series than Zestiria did. Something felt off about Zestiria the whole time I was playing it. It was weird. Even though I didn't love Xillia, I got further in Xillia 2. I got further in Xillia 2 than I did in Zestiria.
Velvet, yeah, that's her name.
So I don't know. I'm gonna play it because I think it looks cool. But I think it kind of goes by generation. I think PS1 is undoubtedly Final Fantasy for me.
And I would go anything before PS1's Final Fantasy because you have Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, but those are games I didn't play until PS1.
I mean, on the Nintendo.
No, you remember they came out with all the Final Fantasies on PlayStation 1 prior, eventually. You could get Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on one disc.
You could get Final Fantasy 1, 2,
or one
3.
package. I can't remember if it was one disc.
1, 2, and 4, or maybe it was just 1 and 2 on. Yeah, that's right. 1 and 2 on Game Boy Advance, 3 and 4 on DS, and then I think they added 5 to either 3DS or DS as well.
Yeah.
You could and 6. I don't think they've ever remade 6 except on phones and Steam, but it wasn't the good kind of remake. It was like the pop art or whatever. It looks really like.
Are you sure that was 6?
Oh, I'm 100% sure they remade 6.
That's weird.
And it doesn't look. It looks like a phone game, and it doesn't look appealing.
Do you feel the same with what they did to Sword of Mana? Actually,
No.
I think the Sword of Mana remake looks all right.
That
I haven't
was
played it, but
no. Yeah, that was or maybe they did do 6. Okay, I'm guessing 5 because 5 was also. We've talked about it in this.
War box.
We did about it. Yeah, look, this is what I'm talking about. Look at the character models. The enemies look cool. That looks way too stylized for what it was, and it took a lot of the charm out of it for me. And they look like DS characters in a way.
Yeah, they said Final Fantasy 5.
That's what I just said.
No, you said 6 earlier.
No, I said no. I'm thinking of 5.
My bad.
Yeah.
I missed you. Okay.
I corrected myself.
Well, they are, Kiki. That's my answer.
6 is the best Final Fantasy game.
I think that there's in eras it changes. I will give you a better answer after I get a chance to play Berseria, because I actually did really like 15. I know that a lot of people didn't. I liked it for what it was, and of the playing Zestiria and playing 15 was undoubtedly better than Zestiria.
And from personal preference as a series whole, we went yellow again. Hopefully, we don't drop soon. If we freeze, we are aware of the situation.
Lord.
But yeah, Final Fantasy is by far the winner for me. Eric wants to know, what are your thoughts on this year's schedule of games that have been released and are going to be released in this coming holiday season? Then he goes on to say, what have been your guys' favorite game and least favorite games has been this release this year? The second part, I'm not going to answer because I made a real bad mistake last year of giving too much away for that. When Game of the Year awards finally came out, I felt like it was kind of more so known what our games of the year was. And so that one, I'll give a broad answer to that, though, and I'll say I've really enjoyed Dead Cells, Death Gambit, and God of War. But
I back all 3 of those games. Super good.
Yeah, least favorite games this year. That's a hard one because I don't think I've played any like really bad games, at least off the top of my head. Oh, that's how you get UTIs? That's nasty. UTIs are not fun for guys. But yeah, this schedule is awesome. Like I wish every single year was like this, and I know it can't be, but ever since February, the ball has been rolling. We've got Nier, Horizon, and Hellblade all somewhat closer to each other, but then you have God of War. Wait, what am I thinking? February? Yeah, I'm thinking of last year for some reason. I'm stuck on.
I'm a little bit mixed with that. But
I'm stuck on not God of War. I'm stuck on last year's Game of the Year episode. So I was going through like all these games that came out so close together.
World End says God of War Game of the Generation.
Bloodborne has a word with you, and Dark Souls 3. But yeah, like I like it a lot because since February, there's been a solid game out every month.
Yeah, you're right. There's been a great game released once or a good game at least, something very high quality released once a month, every month since the year's come out, or since the year started. Now, or February, which is typically the start of any year game wise. They normally leave January alone.
Yeah, and even then, most fiscal years.
Which next year that's changing. January's getting some games. It's getting Resident Evil. It's getting
not as many as February 22nd, which is a question here coming up soon.
Oh yeah. So. It's funny that you say that because I actually feel like I preferred last year's schedule, even though there was even more I was wanting to play last year in terms of like my hype level, right? Last year's release schedule was more breathable, but in terms of there were more games that I was hyped for that I loved, and so I was playing more games and having a problem keeping up because there's a lot of stuff I was excited for, but it felt more like I had a couple of breaks here and there to kind of breathe and catch up. Whereas this year's so much that I'm having problems keeping up even when there's games that I don't know if I'm going to like.
Okay, we have a lot more questions actually.
Yeah, no, we'll roll through them a little quicker.
No. I'm talking about that. That was all responding to your tweet on the same thing. Then there's people responding to my tweet, and then there's the other tweet. So there's like 20 more questions.
Bam, bam, bam. All right, well, it's cool. We'll roll through them. You okay?
Yeah. But yeah, to kind of answer that, yeah, like last year was pretty good. This year, there's a game out every single month, and I'm not even going to pay attention to Twitch chat because I already know what they're saying. But I did wash my hands.
Well, I'm going to finish my thing real quick if you don't mind, which was just that the end of this year is a little different for me, actually, because after Spider-Man, it gets a little more breathable to me by nature of me not caring. I'm not going to play Call of Duty since I'm not going to buy a Call of Duty that doesn't have a story.
Yeah.
That's one thing, which I don't normally buy them at day one anyway. Infinite Warfare has been the only exception to that. But that I get to skip out on. Not a big fan of Battlefield or World War II, so I'll skip out on that. Not a big fan of Red Dead, and that what I was getting is I played Red Dead back in 2010, and I could be in a different space now, so I actually may feel differently about going into Red Dead 2, but it's just not hitting for me like it is for people who loved and played the first one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I don't have to worry about that.
With it being a prequel, I would still at least consider picking it up if you haven't played the first one, just because I'm sure it's going to be of quality with it being Rockstar.
Well, no, and that's what I was saying. I'm not saying they're not quality games, but they don't, like, ever since Grand Theft Auto 4, which, I mean, that was the starting game for me, where I just I started losing my interest in Rockstar games.
No, yeah, Grand Theft Auto 4 is a bad game, though. Let's see.
Some people saw a Red Dead Redemption 2 demo and called it a horse walking simulator.
I mean, there's a simulator word for everything now. Yeah, I like every single month until the end of the year, there's something out for me. And then I would honestly say for the next, like, 7 months, there's something out. Especially in February. But
next year's seeming kind of crazy, too, but it seems like it'll be a little more breathable.
Right.
I feel like I like there to be moments where you can kind of get your head above the water.
Right.
That's what I feel. And even though last year had a bunch of a ton of huge games for me, like the Crash Bandicoot trilogy coming back, like I mentioned, Nier, Horizon, all these big games that I waited so long for. God of War has been great this year, and I will give it that. I enjoyed Detroit thoroughly enough to platinum it, which was considering I didn't platinum the other 2 games by Quantic Dream, even though I enjoyed Heavy Rain heavily. And Beyond I thought was okay because I played it at launch when it was not on PS4 where you could play it in chronological order. So those things are a little differently for me. I think that this year's been great for me, and I've been glad that August was so strong and that we're going into a pretty strong September. But I'm glad that for me it's starting to slow down a little bit, and I'll be able to catch up. So I think after Spider-Man I'll be able to play Tales of Berseria and other things that I've been waiting on.
And since they are saying that Spider-Man's 20 hours, I reckon I'll probably play 40 hours worth of it, and then given side stuff, exploring and stuff of that nature.
Sean! Heavy Rain's great, man. I love that scene. Even though it's one of those weird things of game design that goes through. It's like, well, this just shows at the time it wasn't as bad, but now that games have moved so much forward, you hit the button to say Sean, and eventually you hit it too many times, and like all the variations of how he says Sean are up, so it restarts. So he goes from yelling like, Sean! Then you hit it again, Sean.
Oh my gosh,
it's great.
Speaking though of next year's heavy hitters, kind of leading in, El Chabib wants to know. He says, another week, another question. Metro, Crackdown, Days Gone, and Anthem are all releasing on the same day. Which one are you getting if you only have a choice for one? Which one do you think will be affected in the most in terms of sales, and which one do you think has the prospect of bad reviews? So Crackdown 3 obviously is going to be the bad review answer because it's been so long that.
Well, we say bad reviews is in the worst review.
The worst out of these
I still think it'll
games,
probably end up in the 7s.
Yeah. It's there's so much hype going into it. And Crackdown 2 wasn't even that great for me. I loved Crackdown 1 a lot. It's funny, I bought that game to play the Halo 3 beta as like 80% of other people did, and I actually ended up having a lot of fun with the game itself. Let's see, but yeah, Crackdown. You think so? You agree with Crackdown in terms of the prospect of bad reviews?
I do.
Honestly, I think it's either gonna be that or Days Gone. I think Days Gone is gonna be. It's going to fall flat for a lot of people.
It's a mixed bag with me, right? If I have to go, so real quick, World End says Days Gone will be the one that he thinks that he's going to pick up and grab. And Crackdown 3 he thinks will be the worst sales and reviews. I think that's a good answer. I really do agree that Crackdown 3 has been stewing for too long. It's going to suffer from a couple of problems.
Well, yeah, okay, so I can't tell if he's saying Days Gone and Crackdown 3.
No, he's saying Days Gone is the game he's going to get. From what I can tell, because it's saying the question is which one are you going to pick up if you can only pick one.
Well, there's a second question there though. He's saying if you only choice for one, sales and then bad reviews.
So he says Days Gone, Crackdown 3 will be the worst of sales, and so
the one
Days Gone will be the one to get.
Okay,
that's
cool.
what I thought. So when you think about it though,
I'm
with you. Crackdown has been stewing for too long, and has been messed around, and the hype is not even there.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's
like
not.
Days Gone had hype. I mean, Days Gone. I'm sorry. No Man's Sky had hype even after the delay. I've not seen this hype for Crackdown the same way. Now it could be because we're in a different. We're in a different echo chamber because we are so PlayStation focused that maybe we're missing a little bit of it, and I want to be clear if that's possible.
But
I don't see a lot of it across.
We are PlayStation focused, but I am subscribed to the Xbox One X subreddit and the PCMR subreddit,
and you still see a general lack of hype for Crackdown.
I'm still very I wouldn't say active, but I pay a lot of attention to these other ecosystems or other console families.
Yeah, World End just said what I was going to get into with all of it, right? Is that Anthem is a safe bet. Anthem's going to get picked up by the people that like the Division and like Destiny and like those types of games. It's something else for them to do, something that has more content for them to do. And I think a lot of people who were disappointed with Destiny 2 are going to try and move to Anthem in hopes that it will fill that void.
Oh, totally. That's what it's.
And I think it will do well.
Yeah.
And it's BioWare, which is BioWare have traditionally sold pretty well. If you just don't account for Andromeda, which was not the normal BioWare that people go off of, so it's okay. I think that they're fine. One bad game is not gonna make this game sink. Metro is exactly what he worded it the best. It's a niche group, but every game is sold better.
I think that if you're going out of these games here, if you want to go in for a
Metro is the most known quantity. Is what I get at. In terms of if you look at all these games, Crackdown could be any number of things. We don't know how good it's going to be because it's been stewing for too long, too many problems, and we haven't seen it since early last generation. Like 2009? Was that Crackdown 2?
Crackdown 1 was 2007, so I think Crackdown,
and
or maybe it was Crackdown, or
maybe 2010.
September.
I don't know.
September 7th was when.
Even then, Crackdown 2, I do remember being notably worse in terms of reviews and sales than the first one, from what I can remember. I could be wrong on that, but I do remember it being across friends I know who loved the series. Crackdown 2 wasn't as good as 1.
Okay, so Crackdown 1 was definitely 2007 because I kept thinking Halo 3 came out on September 7th. It came out to September 25th, 2007.
But as far as Metro goes, Metro's seen a re-release this generation.
Right.
And a lot of people picked up Redux and really liked it. Metro was just great in general. It has a very high quality. They're a great studio in terms of putting out.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
They really pushed a lot, and it looks great. And they got a strong reaction when they revealed it on Xbox, and then again during E3 when they showed gameplay.
Yeah.
I am hearing and seeing a lot that's notably making it look like Metro of all of them actually is the most known quantity of. You've seen the devs work, and since it's a series, people know what they're kind of getting into, and they're going for that. I think Crackdown will definitely be the worst in those because it's going to be a victim of its own delays and development problems. They've had development studios coming in and out of the fold. There's 3 development studios working on it. Now there's only 2 because 1 dropped out, and the original creators, the original creator who came back for this dropped out.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. I think it's going to affect the game in a big way. Anthem, it's a safe bet.
Anthem is going to be the one that sells the most.
Days Gone's going to sell off of PlayStation's name alone. And I think it's going to review decently. I think that we'll get at least somewhere in the 8s.
I don't think it's going to hit the gold, though. The 8.6
I don't know.
or so
curious.
at 7.
I'm curious. I think it'll be low 8s minimum because the game obviously looks great. It's going to run great.
We hope that.
I mean, yeah, but from what we've seen, there's no reason to think it wouldn't.
Oh, did you not watch the first Game Informer video? There's a lot of glitches in that video.
Yeah, when you say first Game Informer video, do you mean
the very first one that was
when the game was still super early? I could see that, but we've seen the game a lot of times since then. I know.
I'm hoping it gets polished a little bit more. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I was to pick one of these to play, I think that if I'm going in for a story, Metro is going to be the better choice than Days Gone, for sure. I think that's going to be the better gameplay. I think that it's going to be better everything.
Liam says, I'm going to get Days Gone. The Horde is a bunch of homeless Oregonians.
Yeah.
That's a weird word. And they want your dudes free. They want your dudes tree fitty.
Game Informer was pre-alpha. I know that. Yeah, I do know that. I'm just saying. I hope it's a lot more polished when it comes out. I'm sure it will be.
Which I mean, pre-alpha. That's early. I mean,
it is very.
So I think Days Gone is the. I think it'll be the underdog in a great way, like in terms of it'll do well, even though it's.
I think that's Metro.
Really?
Yeah. Think of all the people who haven't played Metro at all or haven't heard the series, so they're going to get
more. I would beg to argue. I would probably put real money on it, like $100. I would put $100 on the fact that more people know what Metro is and the team behind Metro than know who Bend is. And since Days Gone's a new game,
but you're not. No. That's cheating. Why don't you say the same amount knows who Days Gone is? Because you're comparing the name of a studio to a name of a game. But what I'm getting at is that one, you have a series behind that people can recognize from a series name. You don't have that with Days Gone. So I'm just saying, if you were to ask somebody, do you know what the Metro series is, and do you know what Days Gone is, they're going to know more of Days Gone.
Sure. But here's the thing: I get that is fair. But the general point of that is that
the story is weird in the Metro games. So it's a good weird. It's like a paranormal.
I love Metro.
Yeah.
Super good. I actually really love the way that Metro plays.
I want to read the books.
Very cool.
Because they're all based off a book series.
Absolutely. I think it's really cool. But either way, I don't know. Metro, I think, is Sales wise,
Days Gone will sell more than Metro on PC, PS4, and Xbox One combined. I'm willing to take that bet with somebody. I'm willing to say that Metro will sell.
Oh no, it will. It will. Now I don't want to say that Days Gone will sell on.
I will say that Metro will sell more on PC than Days Gone will. The Metro.
So he's saying Days Gone will sell more. You're saying Metro is going to sell more?
Yes.
Okay.
On PC alone. The PC on the side of things, the PC gamers, Metro is one of the go-to series to play.
No, absolutely. From a benchmark standpoint and a number of different things.
It's like Stalker. Stalker is one of those that console gamers don't know that well of, but
because
if you play
never
PC,
made its way over. Yeah,
and it's one of those things. But I bet you that it will sell more because I have heard no hype for Days Gone outside of our community.
It's a mixed bag though. I really do. I've seen hype for it, but Facebook, and you don't have Facebook. That's one of those weird things. I don't care
to have Facebook.
I know, but I think you have to think about all the people coming in. So I've seen real hype for Days Gone, but Days Gone does exist in a point of most people don't know much about Bend, and they have no reason to go off of them from name alone. That was the whole point of my comparison.
But but what's the developer's name for Metro?
3A Games.
Right. Who knows that?
Nobody knows that. And I'll say, but when you go, hey, have you seen that new Sony Ben game? And you go, Sony Ben, and you just go Days Gone. That's all they have to go off of. I guarantee you, most people probably didn't play Uncharted Golden Abyss. Most people probably didn't play Resistance Burning Skies. Most people probably didn't play Siphon Filter anytime recently. They may go, oh, wait, that PS1 game that I don't really remember?
Bugsby?
But yeah, not Bugsby, Busby 3D.
Oh, it's Busby.
It is that, but...
I will say though that I think that it's definitely not going to sell better than all of them combined. I think Metro will be up there with Days Gone in terms of sales. I'll probably put my foot in my mouth when I said better than PC than Days Gone on PS4. Just because that ain't going to happen. But yeah, more combined, I don't think so. I think that Metro is going to sell a good share.
Yeah, but
I think Anthem's going to outsell them all.
That's what I was going to get. Anthem's going to have the most sales.
Anthem, without a doubt, is going to outsell them all. Next question up, we have Dan, who asked us a weird yet interesting question. He says, if you had unlimited funds, what is one PlayStation item you want in your collection? Game, console, or limited edition? I think, Brett, you have that thing, right? You have the 20th anniversary PS4. You have the now transparent PS4. That's my answer, would be the transparent PS4. That's just it, though. I don't care enough about collectibles or anything like that to care that much.
See,
at this point, I could pretty much buy any of these that I wanted without having to worry about unlimited funds, or at least when they came out.
Yeah, or you could have tried and probably got one.
You posted, what was it, Twitter or Best Buy that had the link in Discord like 2 days ago that was in stock for
GameStop,
that.
Yeah. But it was also $7.99 because it was a bundle with an extra controller, headset, and PS Plus.
But the headset, though, is
nice.
Dope.
Yeah, it looks great.
But
I will probably buy it again because...
I don't know. I don't really have an answer to this. I don't really care that much about collectible stuff that sits on a shelf unless it's a game or series I love a lot.
Yeah,
but nothing's out of reach.
The question for me comes from he says one PlayStation item, and the thing is, there's a lot of stuff that I never got around to getting that I would love to get. One of them, this is just on the top of my head, that I really thought was super cool when it came out, but we didn't get it. Excuse me. Japan got a Soul Sacrifice Vita that was really cool, the original Fat Vita. That I would love to have, just to have sitting somewhere because it's a really cool design on it. There's a number of those that I think would be cool to have sitting around. You know my collectible nature. If I could have unlimited funds, like legit unlimited funds, and could get anything, I would love to have so much stuff. This is going to sound crazy. Did you ever see, and it's actually, I mean, I do love the game, even though you have a much higher love for Kojima than I do. Did you ever see the Gunmetal Gray...
PS5 Pro.
It was a PS3, and it was the Metal Gear Solid 4 80 gig PS3.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I want though. The Metal Gear Solid 5 Collector's Edition with the hand.
Dude, the Collector's Edition?
Yes, with the bionic hand.
Yeah, that's cool.
Snake's hand.
Actually, if you're talking about that, also the
that probably doesn't cost that much though.
The original PS4 was really cool.
That's what I thought you were talking about at first. So what was yours? So that's going to be it.
Nah, it's not going to be it. But there's a lot of stuff I'd like. I mean, realistically, if I didn't have the 20th anniversary, that would be it.
Yeah.
When I think about going back, there's cool stuff from the PS1 era I would have liked to have gotten, and I think would be cool. Some people have these stuff. It's just weird because different things have different values, right? I think it'd be really cool to have the PlayStation 1, PS1, the mini ones with the rounded corners that had a screen attached to it.
Oh, yeah.
Still have.
My friend Chase had that.
Cool idea.
Yeah.
And I don't have one, but it was just a cool
You could probably
idea.
make that a really cool Raspberry Pi project.
Probably, and be able to make a station out of it alone.
Yeah.
You can probably slap a cool battery in there
Yeah.
and actually make it like a portable system. How crazy would that be? Be really cool though. It's an interesting question because I think that I've done really well to get the ones that mean the most to me. Which I think the 20th anniversary is the epitome of that. It's a very pretty console, and it's a very cool idea. Even though the 500 million one's cool that they did 50,000 of, it's still not as interesting, and as craftsman-wise, it's not as cool as the 20th anniversary. So that's why I'm going to go with that. I think that was a good question, though. He had a secondary part about Cadbury eggs. We do not.
No, we do not have. He does not say no about eggs in there.
Oh, Cadbury chocolate.
Yeah, he says we do have Cadbury chocolate in the U.S., and it's actually, if you guys like ever want.
Or it's expensive here, isn't it?
I mean, it's not. No, not really. Like a Hershey bar is like $1.30. A Cadbury bar is like $2.50. But it's like the Carmelo bar. It's like in a very vibrant gold, shiny wrapping. It's really good. But we don't have something called Wispa. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
So we don't have that. But Dan, when you come on, you're gonna have to talk to us and tell us what that is. And
tell me what chocolates to get.
Yeah,
I will follow
send us some, actually. Richard Rivero says, yet again, probably for the third time asking, I'm curious to know what was the weirdest thing you guys saw live on PlayStation when people used to live stream themselves. He's talking about the very early rendition of the Playroom thing. I never used that, so I cannot answer your question, sir. I am sorry.
I didn't do that either. It's funny. He was really curious about that answer, and I kept trying to.
I think he's
about
asked it twice now.
Yeah, it's twice he asked it.
Where are you at, Richard? You ain't in this live stream. I'm sad.
I am sad. It's
our boy.
I know that a lot of people saw weird stuff on that. That's just not what my bag is. I would not have wasted time I could have spent gaming going through and watching the PlayStation Live stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So not for me, but I'm sure someone has a great answer. So I'm going to ask you, Richard. Did you do this? Because I assume you asked out of the curiosity.
I think he was the one streaming. I think he was the one.
He's the one that did the weird thing.
He's the one doing the weird things.
He hopes that we saw it.
Yeah, he wants to know what we saw. Liam says, "Hey boy." He says, when will Podcast Cat have her own PSN so I'll play video? She does, actually. It's just a very hidden PSN. We actually may be doing a live stream on Monday, fingers crossed for internet, of Death's Gambit. Not Dead Cells, Death's Gambit.
We'll do something fun.
And Mikey12 says, do you think we can expect a PS1 Classic like the NES SNES? It's my favorite console and one I would like to revisit the most, especially the classic JRPGs of the generation. What games do you think would have been included if Sony did a classic? We've briefly...
I think someone else asked this recently, too. Now, we've gotten asked it a while back, like last year.
Yeah. I definitely said Legend of Dragoon in 7 and 6.
Okay,
Final Fantasy 7 and 6.
I guess the first part of the question is, do we think we'll get one?
No, we won't.
The fact that after the NES, the SNES came too, I think that it's getting more likely, and PlayStation have talked about that they may do it, that there's been conversations going on.
I don't think we will.
The fact that Sony's at least acknowledged it makes it somewhat likely, still low. I agree with you on that. I think the reason is that since they didn't have a really firm footing in being a first-party developer yet, they would have to really rely on a lot of third parties to come in clutch for them, which is something Nintendo didn't absolutely have to do. They were able to get a lot of stuff that was just first party for them, and then a couple of the third party ones that were very important. Now, if we were going to get a PlayStation 1 Mini, I would imagine that some of the go-to games have to be at least one of the Crash Bandicoot games, at least one of the Spyro games. Those are staples. I think that one of the big fighting games, so Soul Reaver would be a good one.
Tekken 1.
I mean, it's Soul Reaver. I'm talking about Soul Calibur, which I can't remember. Was Soul Calibur PS1 or did that actually start on Dreamcast?
That started on, I'm 99% sure that started on Dreamcast.
I think you're right.
Other than the non-arcade variation.
Yeah, I think you're right. Dead or Alive started on Dreamcast too. So a fighting game, I'm not sure what the fighting game
is.
Did
it? I thought Dead or Alive started on Xbox One.
No, I had Dead or Alive 2 on Dreamcast. I think I still do.
Okay. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, you're right. Because I'm thinking of Dead or Alive 4.
Yeah.
They added like a female Spartan in that game.
I'm trying to think of like a really cool fighting game from the PS1 era that would be. I guess Mortal Kombat could be on there, but I'm trying to think of something.
Tekken 1, wasn't it?
Tekken 2. Boy, Tekken 2 would be the game. How did that skip my mind? Tekken 2 was great back in the day too.
I don't like Tekken games.
It's actually
so much.
still fun. I have it on my PS3.
I was more of a Mortal Kombat and or Soul
Mortal
Calibur.
Kombat's great, but Mortal Kombat also got better footing late in its life for me personally. I thought that they got better combo handling and stuff when they came around. Like Mortal Kombat 9 was great.
I was gonna say, wait, when though?
I mean, PS3, late PS3. Mortal Kombat 9 was the first time that a Mortal Kombat game really stuck for
Mortal
me.
Kombat 9 was good.
Deception was okay. Annihilation was okay. Like,
No.
they weren't good games, but they were fun to play for a few hours if you rented them. You know what I mean?
Joker was in Annihilation, right? And he was really cool to play with.
What?
Joker was in one of the.
No, that was in Batman versus. I mean, that was DC Comics versus Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat versus DC.
that was fun because he had like his fatality was a.
That's
gun.
actually a really interesting thing. Hakuta says Tekken these nuts.
Got him.
Oh, he said Des nuts. Anyway. I'm trying to think of other good games because I think that Siphon Filter might be interesting, but I don't know if it'd play great. I think Metal Gear Solid 1 would be a great answer for that, and pretty synonymous with PlayStation 1.
No, probably not. After you play Twin Snakes, you kind of get spoiled on Twin Snakes.
Twin Snakes is the better of the two, realistically, but I think if we're going, people would still enjoy one, and one was still pretty synonymous with PlayStation at the time, so I think we'd go.
Certainly.
Symphony of the Night should be on there.
Most definitely.
I think Legend of Dragoon would be really cool.
Final
It'd be
Fantasy
a way
Tactics.
to appease a couple of people. Final Fantasy Tactics would be great. Final Fantasy 7 would probably wind up there in some way.
Yeah.
Since
and six
Square
better be
seems
there.
pretty keen on working with Sony in regards to Final Fantasy 7 stuff. You have to think about, there's people who want multiple of the same game on there. That's probably not going to happen in a lot of cases. I think Wipeout should be on there in the racing sense. Gran
Multiple
Turismo,
of the same game.
multiple of the same series.
Okay.
So like you wouldn't have Crash 1, 2, and 3.
You wouldn't have Final Fantasy 6 and 7 and 8.
So it'd probably be down to that.
I do too, Josh.
Legacy Collection.
I do too.
Didn't they? So Legacy Collection was on PS3, right?
It was on Xbox One. Or it was Xbox 360 as well. And on
no,
Vita.
it wasn't, because Legacy Collection included that. You're talking about the HD collection, but that was only 2 and 3. That did not include 1. The Legacy Collection was exclusive to PS3 because it included Metal Gear Solid 4, which has never been released on anything but PS3.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Because I am 99% sure I played 1 on Xbox 360.
Not that I'm aware of. Tell me if I'm wrong. Josh Shoop, you will probably know. You seem like you're a pretty big Metal Gear fan. That's the Metal Gear Solid collection. That only has 2, 3, and Peace Walker.
Right.
And it had the old games that were the Metal Gear games, not Metal Gear Solid.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Never mind.
But Metal Gear Solid 1,
yeah.
the Metal Gear Solid Legacy collection included 1, 2, 3, 4, Birth by Sleep.
You don't really see the PS3 demo station behind us. It's actually out of shot in the normal shot for the podcast.
It is normally out of shot. So that's a PS3 demo station, and it's all back and working. I could turn it on, the light would come on.
It would be kind of cool to get like it fully set up back there. Have like a
actual
black
screen
with like
I thought about doing
our
it.
logo.
I could do it. I have a PS3 that I could slap in there.
But let's see. Okay, back to Richard Rivero. He says, "So, what are your favorite PS4 memories?" Sticking on the train here. You run out of questions, my boy. Until PS5 comes out, at least.
Metal Gear Solid Birth by Sleep. That'd be a great game.
That would be a great game.
A crossover where Metal Gear Solid is one of the worlds they go to.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Since we have Excite Bike here with us, I'm going to answer his question next. I don't know how long I'll be able to have it, but for now, we're going to get Mr. Richard done.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't cut off of the Richard question.
So he said favorite PS4 memories, right?
Yeah, I'm weird because like I've talked about Dark Souls 2 and the fact that like I like Dark Souls 2 so much because it was comforting when I had my wisdom teeth cut out. But PS4 memories is weird because it's similar. We're going to ignore Bloodborne because obviously that's answer number 1.
Then says, favorite PlayStation 4 memories? Thinking that Watch Dogs would meet my expectations.
I'm not going to lie, Watch Dogs was real fun.
I disagree.
But it was only fun.
So incredibly. I know he loves it. I tried with Watch Dogs. I really tried.
It was fun because
there was a lot of gameplay decisions that just, to me, I was like, this isn't, even from a movement perspective, it felt bad.
The multiplayer and the fact that like I had the Nexus 7 tablet and I downloaded the app and like Seth was trying to get away from cops and I was literally hacking stuff around him on the tablet. It was super fun.
Cool idea. I'll give it that. But the game played so roughly and felt so weighty in weird ways. And
right.
I didn't like that you had to press buttons to climb. It was a big problem I had with Assassin's Creed before they added free jump in. It's just one of those things. I don't think I could ever even go back and play it because it just doesn't play the way I want third-person games to play. But
it was fun, hide and seek, and that's very similar to Dark Souls where you get invaded by somebody, you have to go find them.
I love in Dark Souls have you seen the video where the people, you may have been the one who showed me it.
Iron Pineapple, I already know what you're going to say.
Pineapple?
Yeah, that's the name of the people.
Oh, no, the people who were rolling around. No, that was hilarious. But have you seen the one where it was somebody invading him, and what he did is he went through he farmed this one enemy that was in a spot and got all the armor, changed his armor.
Oh yeah, just sat there.
And just sat there
Yeah.
in the spot they were supposed to be. And people just ran by him.
I'm pretty sure that was Iron Pineapple because there is a ring that you can do to hide your
yeah, which was hilarious. Because the guy kept running around, and he eventually started like one of them left, and then one of them just stood there, and like he snuck up behind him and killed him.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is so great.
That's either Iron Pineapple or Yumfa. But
all of World Ends are like disappointing. Another favorite PS4 memory. Thinking that Luna will be a big part of Final Fantasy 15.
Mine's weird because like it kind of goes back to that comforting thing in a weird way of the year Arkham Knight came out.
Oh yeah, dude. Arkham Knight. I was super hyped for that.
I'm trying to think of like what year that was. 2015, 14, 15.
Right.
Okay. I had like a really
World End will let us know for sure if we're wrong.
I had like this really good knack of like taking vacations when it's about to snow for my first vacation of the year. It happened this last year, and it happened that year too, where I took a vacation and then it just started snowing real bad, and it's like I didn't have to go anywhere, get out, or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I remember I went to the place I currently work to grab me some food to kind of just throw in my apartment and kind of just chill for a couple of days. But I got really sick, and like I got like a really really bad cold where my body was aching, my voice was gone, everything. But I played Arkham Knight. And I played Arkham Knight all day, like I was sitting there on NyQuil, like just having fever dreams of Arkham Knight. It was crazy.
Which is even more weird with the way Arkham Knight's story works.
Yeah, it is.
That's actually pretty interesting. Favorite PS4 memories for me, I'm going to shoot one in real quick if you don't mind, good sir.
Yeah.
It's interesting that that's one of yours. So like having weird trips.
No, it wasn't even trips. It was just like I was laying down going to sleep and I would dream of Arkham Knight, and I think it was because of the NyQuil.
Probably. Big one for me. A lot of them came before Kyrie was born because I guess the freedom I had at the time. The Witcher 3, I was playing literally and beat while she and actually this is like something I'm thankful for. This is one of the great things that gaming can do for you. When Kyrie was born, she was up in NICU and we couldn't go see her all the time. We had to go see her during visitation hours because she had to be
yes,
kept
it
up
is,
in that
Josh.
box.
Yeah, I came there one time. It was funny because that day I came and visited you, David. You remember him?
Yeah.
He came and visited us, and I checked in, and they're like, wait, there's another guy from blank place of appointment. I'm not going to say live on stream.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And like we were both wearing like work uniform shirts or whatever. I'm like, we could have just like went together. At this
and you
point.
went up there and Kyrie grabbed your finger. That was actually pretty.
It was like
really
a really hard grasp.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna break this
baby strength. Anyway, yeah. So when that was going on, and we ended up having. They let us stay at the hospital a few days, and then they finally were like, "You got to go," even though she's got to stay. So we came home, and I was already close to the end of Witcher. So what I did to kind of keep my mind off of things is just super dive into the Witcher in the hours between when we could go for visitation, because it was very stressful, and that helped me a lot. Like be able to get through it, and it really seared those last moments of that game in my memory, which is great because I really love that game for that. And I also love the game before that. So Witcher 3's got a lot of strong memories for me, and the hype that came behind going into it, not knowing what to expect, and then loving every second of what I did. Another big one is and people are going to jump on me or jump on the fact that, it's short enough for you to do this. No, it wasn't short. The day, and this was again before Kyrie was born, the day that the Order 1886 came out, I got off of work, went and picked up both my collector's editions, gave the copy of the second game to somebody that I worked with. I sold it to him for $50, came home, put it in, did not do anything else, didn't even eat until it was like, so I think it was 5:30 to like 3 or 4 in that morning, maybe even a little bit longer, something like that, because it was like 10 or 11 hours. It was very long, and I just played it in one night, and it had been so long since I'd been able to do that with a game because I'd done that with Uncharted 3. I just literally got it, went home, played it until I beat it, and then went to sleep. It was very fun to do that. Those are really fun things. Look, Sarah says, "Oh God, though, that feeling you get when you think Siri is dead would not do well if I was in between home and NICU." That's a good point, actually.
Is that the early game?
Thankfully, no. Thankfully, it was. That's one of those things where I'm glad the ending happened the way it did. You never beaten it, so I'm not going to talk to you about it. I don't want to go too far. I think
there's already been a portion of it spoiled just now, Sarah. Thank you.
Well, actually, I mean, some of it depends on the way you play the game.
I guess that's
true. Actually one of those weird things that game has that ability.
This next question, Dan, I kind of want that to be the next topic of our show because that's actually a very, very popular point of conversation right now with current gen and Cyberpunk and next.
You know what, Dan? Fine. We're going to skip over you. only because we
We're
want
gonna
you
make
to be
we want you to be the next
next
topic
one.
of
So
our next
we'll do
show
it.
because
We'll do
I have
it.
a lot.
It'll be a little less topical, but whatever.
I have
Doesn't
a
matter.
lot to say about this, and I really want to talk about it at a good length. I think because
When we don't have to break out between.
yeah,
Or don't feel like
we need to rush through a question. But our last question before we announce the winner of this giveaway.
Hold on. I'm going to go to. We have a couple on Facebook that we haven't gotten to yet.
Oh my God, I'm ready to go to bed.
It's fine. Look, Excite Bike in here. Good sir. I hope you're still with us. Jeremy. Yeah, that's what we're going to say. Anyway, what's up, fellas? Simple question for you guys. And this is a great question. That's why I really want to get to it anyway. How has being Triangle Squared changed the way that you game, and how has it changed your relationship with each other? I used to have a YouTube channel with a great friend called Alabama Gamers. That's why you guys know me as that.
Yeah.
It's now dead because it took too much time to make, produce, and edit videos that we had very little time left over to just game ourselves or go hang out together like we used to. It almost became a chore on some days to produce weekly content, and we didn't even have a Discord to moderate. Do you no longer have the time to grind out the more comprehensive platinums? Looking at you, Saul. Do you feel pressured to stay current on video games instead of allowing yourself to fall deep into 3-month pit of Skyrim equivalent? Has your relationship become more business-like? Any other changes? I've always enjoyed the podcast. Have been around since episode 2. Aired. Keep up the great work, fellas.
Thank you so much for sticking with us for such a long time.
Actually, yeah, that's
Jeremy,
the
you're a
first
cool
thing.
guy, and I hope your profession's treating you well. I know it's a hard profession to be in. Without saying too much, but I will say though, our relationship has become more business-like in a way of only hanging out to record than leaving. Like tonight,
and to an extent, that comes down to schedule.
Right?
Like
yeah, I was gonna say like
schedule.
tonight, as you guys know, if you're watching the stream, it's 12:15 a.m. right now, and I will say though that now that I have a new position at work, somewhat, I haven't really gotten it yet, but like this new position at work allows me to be able to like get off early more. And lately, we've been hanging out more.
Yeah,
and
we have.
It's not so much of like showing up, recording, going.
Because that's what I'm gonna say. It's not the show's fault that we. I mean,
It's
don't
just
get me
the
wrong,
schedule.
It's
But
more his schedule. Because
if
we could, if your schedule was perfect and you were working the same schedule as me,
It'd be more.
It'd
Yeah.
be way.
Well, you
different.
remember back when I worked at the other location prior, we actually did hang out more because I actually worked a lot more morning shifts.
Yeah,
Instead.
I do remember that.
But lately, it's become a lot of evening shifts. But now, it's one of those things too that's it's actually better. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been a real big learning experience, especially like I am really thankful for it because I feel like I'm getting competent with graphic design, and I never knew nothing about that before. And I reinvigorated myself on video editing for Saw Plays, which I once knew a long time ago, but now I know pretty much well, at least for Sony Vegas. But yeah, like other than that, it's been a real fun ride.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I'd say that it makes our relationship more business-like, but in the same sense of it making it more business-like, I'm a very honest person anyway, and I like to just say the way I feel and instead of keeping too terribly much of it. And I think that some friendships are almost on the thing where you can't say something without risk of hurting someone's feelings, whereas I've gotten to the point where the show has forced us to sometimes be more honest than I think we otherwise might be with each other. Because it's like, when I say the show, I guess Triangle Squared as a whole, right? Because it's more than just the show. It's the community. It's us talking on Twitter. It's us putting out these custom cases that we're doing. And I think it's I think it's been good for us. It's been good for Saul to an extent. I think I'm going to speak for you for a second, Saul. I said this the other day, but I don't think you were really very social online in the general sense until Triangle Squared. I think it was actually kind of pushed you into a more social state than you had ever been.
It's actually just because I don't like it. I'm very I introverted of a person.
I know you don't, but and I'm not saying that like, and I know that there's even people who follow us on Twitter will know for the most part I'm more active on Twitter than Saul is. That's also because of the way.
Well, to an extent, yeah. Like I'm one of those people that like if I do something in a game or something like that, I applaud the people who like want to share that kind of stuff. I don't really want to share that kind of stuff though for some reason. Go away, fly. But I'm just I don't use social media, so that's,
and I don't even do it as much that way either.
Yeah.
So I can see that. But
so it's one of those things of like I'm always active on Twitter in terms of like browsing. Like I almost, and if somebody asks us something or something like that, I will respond. I just don't use it in the traditional sense of like where people are tweeting their food out or the current video game they're playing, their thoughts on it or whatever. I kind of save all that stuff for here.
Sure, and I think I do that too. I try and make sure that we have good conversation on here. But I still say like the Discord, I still consider to be a social element, and you are on Discord.
Oh, I use Discord. Like that's the reason I thought of that as an idea for Triangle Squared because I've used it beforehand.
Sure.
Like I used it for Destiny. I used it for Podcast Fly wants to know what the buzz is. It's the I'm getting to the point now where I'm getting like a little sleepy, but it's like the delusional sleepy.
Yeah.
Like where
everything's funny.
Everything's funny, yeah.
That was a bad joke, Liam. I'm kidding. It's actually a good joke.
But yeah, like that's just kind of one of those things. Like it's been real fun. I actually told Brett the weekend before we started this, like if at a year end we're not getting more than like 50 views on YouTube or whatever, I don't feel like it's worth it. And we're still not getting 50 views on YouTube, but it's been worth it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I actually do remember that. But then again, I didn't know how podcast services would work.
Yeah,
and that we do well on that. Even though, I mean, don't get me wrong,
dude,
I did better,
I calculated that the other day. You know, we have almost a cumulative of 20,000 listens across all podcast services. I mean, across not all. That's the exact opposite. Only SoundHound. SoundCloud. I hate myself.
I know.
So we're looking at probably around 50,000 cumulative like views and listens over our career here, which is amazing to think about because you think of like Jacksepticeye or whatever uploads a video in an hour, he has that many. But like for us to have 50,000 people have listened to us,
or yeah, people have listened to us 50,000 times,
right?
But still,
that's
I
a lot.
get the point. No, it's weird because I guess it frames being successful in a different way. I feel successful.
Yeah, like if you were to tell a family member, like, yeah, we got a podcast. Oh, you only got like 20 views on YouTube. Yeah, but we have 50,000 listens over the course of the past year and a half.
And I take it on a smaller that. That's its own thing, right? It's like, yeah, maybe we only have 20 views on YouTube. YouTube's a different beast. It's hard to get into.
Yeah.
But more what I'd say is, well, maybe. But when that episode airs, we've got 20 to 30 people in a Discord that are all talking to us.
Well, yeah, that's the other aspect.
That's the side that I like the most.
Like,
I feel successful because I feel like we've created something that's bigger than just us. We've created this Discord and these people in this community that we've been able to go to, or that they can survive without us. We don't even got to be there.
And well, that's not even that though. It's like
which is cool.
The accomplishment of gaining like 50 friends too over the course of this too, which has been what has made it worth it. Is there any more on Facebook?
Yeah, there's a couple more. I'll get them out real quick. There's actually one more because Enriquez was just making sure that we got to his Tales of question.
I forgot what his real name is.
Yeah.
That makes me smile.
Josh Shoop says, have you guys ever thought about having guests call in for the show? Some people have the tech and know how to record their end of a combo and could send it in easily. Yes, we've actually been discussing that a lot. I don't know that I'd want it to be on main episodes unless we got somebody who was just undeniably cool, which I don't know if it's going to happen.
I know y'all call him Kiki here. I just love his real name.
Yeah, I call him Kiki too.
It's like not a lot of people.
Did he love me? But
a lot of
he
people,
said he did actually, so it made my day.
So a lot of people don't know my real name. So
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's Saul. It is not. Like that's my middle name, but that's not the full middle name. My name has a lot more to it than y'all think.
Anyway, we thought about it, and I think we are going to start up a series, like I said, of bonus episodes that we do.
Or ex-co-host, I should say. Not he is the creator, but he is the ex-co-host. I don't want to say ex-creator.
Yeah, co-creator, ex-co-host of Square XL. I want to bring him on just because I think he's a nice guy. He's really cool.
Oh, yeah. Very genuine.
I really do think it'd be interesting to have someone where I could really bounce a lot of ideas about the way that things differ between Britain and here, like we've talked about. But I would love that. I think it'd be really cool to have different people on. And I actually want to even extend that, as crazy as it sounds, because it's so fun. I would like to have a bonus episode where it's just
Josh.
Have Josh on one time. If Liam would want to on an episode. Josh would be really interesting because he does a podcast, so it's great that he even asked that. It'd be cool to have.
No. He does not do a podcast. He does multiple podcasts.
So there's that. I think that there's the side of it.
My name is not Chauncey, if that's what you're talking about. I'll just tell y'all because I don't care. It's Michael. That's my first name, and it's Solomon is my middle name. So Michael Solomon.
Anyway,
Saul for short. It is now. So I'm Chauncey now. I'm Chauncey. Chansey. That's not Chansey. That's Chauncey.
It's Chauncey.
Chauncey.
So, yeah, I think that there's a couple people we'd have on, and then I want to even extend that to weird episodes where when like Corey comes down for a weekend or something, I want to just do a bonus episode where if we can get another mic or something, which probably won't be able to happen because these are expensive.
No, dude. Yeah, like that's the one thing is like getting Sean or Mike on is like Sean or Corey on. It's one of those things of like having to get a whole new phantom power supply, a whole new microphone, and an XLR cable. Now.
Is Charlie what? Oh, Charlie's what they named Atreus. I forgot about that.
What? Who named?
Some video game publisher said his son Charlie, and they rolled with it and made a joke out of it. I'm fairly positive. Tell me if I'm right, World In. That was actually pretty funny.
But yeah, like it would be really fun to do that. I
think it would be too, and that's why I think it'd be cool if we could get actual like indie devs and stuff on. If we could get them to call in, I think that'd be cool. Not that would happen, but it may. And then we get other people on. Again, I just like hearing different people's point of views. And you know what would be a really cool Patreon thing? having one bonus episode a month at a certain tier where y'all can just call in and we have a bonus episode dedicated to you asking us anything you want and us back and forthing, be it debating or agreeing or whatever. I think that may be something we could pull off. I don't know if you even have the slightest interest in supporting us on Patreon, and that's something that would make you. I think it'd be cool to do. I'd be down to do.
I'm not going to charge people to talk to us on line though or whatever, because that's kind of what that is. And until we are famous enough that they can actually promote something, if we ever get that famous,
I mean maybe. I guess it would just be interesting because it's us going out of our way doing extra, and it's a cool way to get back to them.
No, Liam, it's Solomon Grundy.
Maybe his name is Solitude.
Born on a Monday. So I guess our last question is going to be from Josh Ayers. So he wants to know. No, it is not.
He's told me this over and over again.
It is
Where
Ayers.
Are you at?
It is Ayers because of his accent. It is that in American accent. It is Ayers.
It doesn't matter. Roll with it.
Like I'm gonna go. Let's see. I was gonna go to Google and pronounce it. Block my location. Google, you creepy.
Google, you
but anyways,
you can't get my information.
He says, "What do you think about the odd false advertising with Xbox with Games Pass and Metro Exodus and Shadow of the Tomb Raider?"
Exodus.
So
Exodia.
It is Exodus.
Exodus.
Oh yeah, I don't know why I get that pronunciation whacked out sometimes.
You know what my favorite book of the Bible is?
I will.
Exodus. Go ahead.
Say, isn't that what it's called?
It's Exodus.
Exodus. That's right. It's like hyperbole. That's the one thing that no matter what, I very well know it is not hyperbole. I mean, hyperbole, it is hyperbole, but I call it hyperbole. I don't know why. It's like Bologna. I don't call it Bologna. I never have.
Shadow of the Poop Raider.
I've heard people call it Bologna. I don't think it's really false advertisement. I think it's that gray marketing area where, they had the Games Pass thing there, and they had the images up above them and below them in some shots, I think. But I don't think that I think it's more so of like gray area. They weren't advertising it for Game Pass specifically, so it would have been false.
I didn't look into this.
Yeah.
So I want to be sure with that. But Blake is the one who mentioned it, and I will look into it after this out of curiosity. But what that is... oh, Lord. He mentioned that apparently it was some kind of a perspective thing.
Well, yeah, it was like...
to where the way the picture was taken, they were actually in different areas, but because they were taken away, it looked like it was under. I don't know if that's true, but they needed to be really careful, and they needed to try and silence that harder than they did. Well, if that is the case, because it's really... You know, we talked about false advertising earlier, right? With Spider-Man and people calling the downgrades or showing it one way and then showing it downgraded being false advertising. But this is a real clear-cut case if this was it. If they really did show Metro Exodus and Shadow of the Tomb Raider underneath the Games Pass thing, the problem with that is that you'd have to be really strong to make sure that you implied that these are not coming day one. And I think it'd be really bad.
Well, it's not like this.
Yeah, so that's what I saw too.
Yeah.
And that's Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider, or is that Metro and Shadow?
That's just two Tomb Raiders.
Okay, that's what I thought. And I could get that it's saying that, well, you could play
Shadow.
Oh,
no, that is Metro.
Okay, I
don't guess I've ever seen the box art for that yet.
Yes, no, okay.
That's not it. Notice there's like an arm coming up right there. Actually, what am I doing?
No, that's Rise of the Tomb Raider.
That's what I thought, yeah. I was going to say, because that looks like her with a torch in her hand.
Yeah, it is. But my point being is that, you do need to be careful about showing stuff like that because that truly is false advertising. Having something that shows a clear picture of Xbox.
It's not, though. Like, that's the thing.
You are right in the sense of
so many,
it's not clear.
Yeah, it's not ethical by any means.
But it's incredibly easy to misconstrue that.
Frozen video again. I think Liam's messing with us because we're showing all greens. It's not Frozen for me, Poet. Yeah, there you go. Love you, boy. No, it's unethical for sure. But it's not illegal. It's not false advertising.
Oh no, I'm not saying illegal false advertising. That is a different game because technically, Killzone Shadowfall got into a
technically though the only real definition of false advertisement is illegal advertisement.
True. Well, but that's when you're adding a legality to it. I mean, you could still consider it false advertisement if you feel like what they're showing is...
If this is situated with a legal case, then somebody could, in practice, sue Microsoft for false advertisement, which is not what this is.
Yeah, going into the legal realm of it. I'll give you that. That's a good point.
That's not what this is. This is a very, very common form of marketing in which they are lumping together items with fine text that will say otherwise. But
they do so on the hope that somebody's going to see it
and get Games Pass
quick go, oh crap, that's try. I'm gonna go on Games Pass right now, right, or see it and then go, oh, wait, that came out Games Pass, and then be disappointed. And don't get me wrong, Games Pass is a great value, and there's a lot of cool stuff on it. Getting its fine.
And see, this was another thing here that people were mad at. Like, notice that this is a separate screen down here, and this is a separate panel here. That box, that is the perspective you were talking about.
Yeah, that's what Blake was talking about.
Right.
So you see the Games Pass logo thing that they had, the 2 pictures below it, which are the Tomb Raiders, and then behind it, who knows what actual distance, but there was a mention of The Division, and it said Daybreak Studios, right? So Daybreak is the people who did State of Decay, right?
Right.
Is that how that goes? So by that, you would say, okay, State of Decay maybe is joining it, and so is The Division 2. And that's a perspective thing. That's something that couldn't help. But the other thing where they're showing Shadow of the Tomb Raider, if that's not going to be a day one game, you need to be very careful about showing that stuff. So
I consider most advertising in video games to be false. That's actually a very interesting concept there, because that could be taken a couple of Winter's podcast file. That could be taken a couple different ways, because technically stuff you see that is considered either pre-alpha or rendered cutscenes is stuff that you don't actually get in the game, which is such like downgrades and stuff people are talking about.
Yeah, and sometimes they actually do cut out stuff or change it to where, because you could say the fact that God of War showed a different pathway to how they got to the beginning demo that they showed during E3 2016. You remember that?
Yeah, and World said E3 is false advertising as a whole, which I'm not going to agree to as a whole, but there is a lot in there. And that's where that word comes into play, though, is that it's not really false advertising. It's it's a gray area of the law, and it is fine prints everywhere. It's one of those things as well. It's one of those things that's you'll see it in sales papers for stores or something that you can buy this item for $999, but you only qualify if you get this, 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 and this. But it's all in fine print. So if somebody takes up that item and says, why are you why is this not ringing up the right price? And it's because here's the fine print, and then they're gonna say that's illegal, that's false advertising. It's not, because there's the fine print. Yeah, and that's the thing about that image is, where's Deep Down? Yeah, that's a good question. Where is Deep Down, Capcom? But that's a good comparison, is that sure, those games appeared around that image, but never once did they say this is coming to Games Pass. They were showing those games off, so they put images up, and like what Brett saw is that there is a weird perspective on that one image, which very well could have been used as a marketing ploy. A lot of people don't know about marketing is that everything you see in a store in every single location is predetermined to be there for a reason. Everything you see in a store, every location of any item is there because it is literally a program using numbers to determine that is the perfect spot to buy the item.
Product placement, basically what it is. It's mass product placement over and over again.
No, not really. It's more of
you are right. I will give you this.
It has nothing to do with product. Well, in the traditional sense of product placement, it has to do with the literal product placement.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, certain cereals are shorter,
like in a TV show.
Right.
It's
certain cereals that are at the bottom shelf because they know they sell the ones on top shelf better.
Yeah.
Or more kids cereals on the bottom shelf because they know kids that are going to be looking for cereals
are shorter. They see them first.
Yeah. So that's one of those things that it's literally a marketing thing. It's they did that on purpose to generate hype, but it's not really false, if that makes sense. But there's enough rambling from me. We're going to get I will say it's unethical. They shouldn't do that if that's not what they want to do.
I think it's a mixed bag. I think they probably should have been clearer and come out, but you're right. It really is marketing, and they're in the clear legally because they had something somewhere that says the intent to add it one day, or we're showing it because right now you can play Rise of the Tomb Raider, which will prepare you to play Shadow of the Tomb Raider, even though Shadow's not going to be on the service. There's a number of ways to go about doing it for them, and they probably covered their butt, but it's one of those things where, it's whatever. It's fine they did it. People do different things different ways, so it's not a huge deal. We're going to very quickly announce the winner of our Spider-Man giveaway.
And in the show, before we have to edit in, this is going to be the most Frankenstein episode with jump cuts ever.
Our winner is Mr. Jeff Danielson, and we will be reaching out to him. He's followed us for a little bit on the Twitter, but he got all of his actions verified. He is the 205th entrant of 1,241 entries. Anyway, with that being said, I guess even though this has been a long, weird episode, it's going to have a ton of jump cuts.
It's very unstructured.
This is super unstructured, super fun, but you know what? This episode is not for people to click on necessarily and start following us because this was so fun. This is for the people who wanted to come in here and hang out with us, chill with us, and people who watch us every week. So to you guys, we appreciate you very, very much. And like we said, Y'all make the show fun to do. Definitely the people who reach out and contact us on Twitter or Discord or Facebook and hang out with us. I mean, absolutely, it makes doing this show weekly incredibly fun. I'm always curious what you guys are going to say first and foremost. I'm always curious what anybody's going to say. Anybody wants to reach out and give us their take on something, I would love to hear. I like having conversations with people. I've had a couple actually recently. We got a new follower recently because he is a longtime Xbox fan and wasn't a huge fan of the way that the Xbox All Access ended up rolling out. He actually said that it was not as good of a program as it should have been for the people that it would have been most useful for. So I get that, and it's really cool. I love having those kind of things. It's all super done. He's like, laptop up, pen out. But look, we are just glad to have all you guys come by and join us, even if it's, 10, 12, whatever the people have been throughout this thing.
That's actually better. If we ever do get like super famous in 5 years or whatever it may be, I would actually miss the moments in which it's more close and intimate with these 10 to 12 people that we know and care about than 100,000 people.
But that's because it's manageable. You know, what was funny about that is if we ever actually got anywhere with this, the people we'd have the best relationships with are these people. You know what I mean?
They'll be all the mods helping us. Because like, if you go to a popular Twitch streamer's chat, it's just the chat's flying by. There's no way they're reading.
It's insanity.
Half of
you
that.
can't. I mean, it's impossible. But thankfully we don't have that problem. So, sorry I couldn't chat much. Had guests over. Hey,
oh
dude,
no,
Nick,
man,
it's
you're
cool,
good.
Dude.
You came in. You showed that you were here for us, and that's what matters. And
Lethal Migraine. Hey, man, don't know who you are, but what's up?
Oh yeah,
thanks for joining us.
He's been chatting for a good couple minutes in there.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
But
see, I can't stand anything involving Larry or Herb. Isn't that the dude from Xbox? That name sounds incredibly familiar.
Oh crap!
Xbox needs someone else. So yeah, he's at Xbox. Yeah. So apparently you need some pancakes and fun, and turn that frown upside down. That's what Mr. Liam said. Since you can no longer see the comments. But with all that being said, this has been episode 75. We will cut and edit the hell out of it so it'll be cohesive for YouTube and for listening. But for everybody who's here today and suffered through all the weird dropouts, we thank you. Thanks for always joining us. And we will be streaming Monday again. I don't have a time exactly.
We're going to try to stream Monday again.
Actually, that's a good point. If it keeps doing this, I'm going to update OBS, restart my computer, do a bunch of stuff. Hopefully we can get this under control.
There's a thing you could do in Death's Gambit where you take Death's contract and rip it in half, and then if you die, it deletes your save. So it's similar to Death's.
Want to do that? It'd be one run.
Yeah, similar to Dead Cells, in which we're both going to basically take a turn and see who can get the farthest without dying.
Hakuza, we'll see you in Discord too. Anyway,
thank you guys.
Till next week. This has been Triangle Squared. And now we're going to go off to our little Patreon backers because we love you all so much. And we will have the winner announced, I think, Monday for the custom case giveaway.
You mean right now?
That happens every month. No, the custom case for Patreon.
For Patreon, yeah.
So, yeah, if you want to support us on Patreon, get you a chance to win these once a month. Any one of your choice. You tell us which one we've made that you want. Bam, that's what you get to do. And until then.
I thought that was the Hyper Light Drifter case that I made.
No, it's my...
Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, Mirror's Edge. So, anyway... You guys, we will see you next week for episode 76 and possibly Monday for streaming. Until then, this has been Triangle Squared. Thanks to our patrons for supporting us. Chad V, Dan Barber, Josh Jarrell, Mikey 12, My Name is Dan, Noonie Bird, Shadowist, Steven Salazar, The Stonard, Travis Below, Blake Popst, Eduardo Palomino. If you'd like to support us, the links are in the description. Thank you.